And we are not live, but pre-recorded. Yeah.
We have to figure out a proper intro for this.
No, I just love that. I just love to say that we
just make it up every single time.
Yeah, every single time.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Dead Air. I am Wayne, co-creator of Ghost Maps and co-host of Dead Air. This handsome fellow over here,
Kyle, hello.
Give lah context, co-creator of Ghost Maps.
No, you already said it, what?
I know, but like you gotta up yourself a bit more, man.
The title doesn't matter. It's the content that matters.
Fair enough. It's very deep of you at the start of our episode.
Closer to the mic.
Okay. Yeah. It's very deep of you from the start of our episode. Okay. Well, today we have a very special guest.
Yep.
This handsome young man sitting next to us.
Yeah.
Can talk now. Okay.
Honestly, you could have started.
I was about to just ask when do I come in? Okay, but you guys need to work on the intro lah.
Yeah.
Definitely lah.
Hafidz Rahman.
Definitely.
Yeah. Very special guest. Very, very special guest. If you listen to horror content, you most probably know who he is. Mm-hmm. If you watch content on TV or you watch content on TikTok, especially TikTok, you know who he is. If not, Wayne will do the honors.
Oh yes, okay. I will do the proper official intro first.
The proper one.
So Hafidz Rahman graduated from the Lasalle College of the Arts. He is currently an arts educator and a working actor who has worked with the Theatre Practice, Checkpoint Theatre, Dream Academy, Theatre Ekamatara. Okay. Theatre kami, my Malay failed since primary 2 lah.
Oh, you took Malay?
I took Malay lah.
Okay.
My wife is constantly embarrassed by the fact that I failed Malay since primary 2. Okay. Theatre kami, amongst many other companies. Past stage works include Pecah Panggung.
Correct.
Okay, good.
I feel like this is like an oral examination.
I know.
Continue.
I'm suddenly very stressed.
Yeah.
Make Hantu's Great Again, Bria Beraya, Happy Ever Laughter, Cerita Hantu, Rasa Sarang, and Angkat.
Yes.
He also dresses up as a makcik for Last in his free time, which is where I'm quite sure a few of you know him from as well.
Yeah,
yep. Hafidz, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm very, very excited. Actually, when you guys approached me, because I know that the podcast, especially in the local scene, can get really saturated. You see, and then I'm constantly finding out, there's actually another podcast doing, So it's it's that continual finding out about new content. So I'm very excited to be part of this. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Dying to share stories and ask questions actually, because I want to know what are the stuff that you guys have seen.
Quite a bit.
You can ask but clearly we're both very shy.
Okay.
Very, very shy.
So, yeah, I'm because I'm quite the horror and podcast fanatic, so I listen to everything. So I've been listening to his podcast for at least a year now. To the horror parts I love it, and I'm picking a bit of bahasa here and there because sometimes he will do translation. And it's so that's what it means. Is it, guys?
Correct.
Yeah. I've been watching the makcik videos with my wife.
And the wife's a fan, huh?
The wife's a big fan.
Gutted that she cannot be here today.
Absolutely gutted she cannot be here today. She will laugh and I will laugh along because I can pick up the rough idea.
The rough idea of what it's about. Yeah.
I'm gonna spend most of this episode apologizing to all my cigus from primary and secondary school.
Okay. So what? So you took Malay all the way until
all levels secondary school. O levels. Yeah.
Did you pass? O level? Did you pass the O levels? C6 No lah. Cannot lah. Really cannot make it lah. D7. E8. E8 okay lah.
How is that okay?
For a non Malay, okay lah.
Really?
Wow.
It's quite bad lah.
Quite bad lah.
It's quite embarrassing. I think.
But to be fair, after speaking it or learning it for about 10 years and still getting E8,
it's quite bad. It's quite bad lah. I bring shame. I bring shame to Eurasians everywhere. You would think that it's not if they took a second language where it's not in alphabets, right? You think that. Oh, okay. The second language is the alphabet. At least you've got the foundation.
Correct. But really cannot lah.
Terrible.
What was it that you struggled with?
I was just a bad student lah.
Aren't we all?
There was nothing wrong with the cigus. The cigus did a good job and everything. I think I was just a terrible student lah.
Okay. Understand.
English also got B.
English B?
Yeah.
Okay lah.
But he's still writer.
I became writer, no.
It's okay. It's fine. Language is evolving. You get better over time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Did you hear that, my English secondary school teachers?
Or he or she was disappointed you didn't get an A or what?
No lah, but they weren't disappointed. It's just the look on their face like,
You can be better, right?
yeah.
You can be better.
okay lah.
Okay lah, can lah. Okay, any more intro?
And no more intro, no more talking about my secondary school grades.
Okay.
Alright, okay. So I want to ask you, you've done both writing and acting.
Yeah.
The short version of this question is how lah. The long version of the question is what attracted you to both of these things?
Okay. So I think because the question people always ask is which one do you prefer more, writing or acting? I do both. I think as a writer, if I were to quantify it, I am probably like a 7. But here's the thing. I am a comedy writer, so when I write comedy content, there's always that sense of improvisation, you see. So that always brings the script to another level.
Yeah.
So on writing itself, I'm a 7. But I've always seen myself as an actor first because I went to school. I went to LaSalle to pursue theatre arts.
Yeah.
And that has always been my first love, the stage and performing, But I've only gotten into writing because someone asked me to do a device play. I think that was all. It started from there. But my love for performing has been since secondary school lah. Yeah, I mean primary school. You do those drama nights and all that. But that's always because teacher asked you to do. But in secondary school, I remember the first play that I read was Tennessee Williams' A Glass Menagerie.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I remember that being that was like a core memory for me. I'm like, okay, from now on, I want to be able to perform the role of Tom, which is the protagonist in the play. And then I was lucky enough to watch a presentation or a play, being staged of the Glass Menagerie, and I saw it and I'm like, okay, so it went full circle,
Wow, okay.
And then that was when I decided, okay, I wanted to become an actor. So at the age of 17, right after O-levels, upon much hesitation from my parents, understandably so, so you want to become, Asian parents you want to be, Asian Singaporean parents would be like, actor, you want to work at MediaCorp? And I'm like, I guess if it
Sure.
I guess, but it's a stage actor lah. So the thing that my mom told me that I will never forget, and I think I held on to it even all the way until my adult life. She said, okay, you want to do whatever, you can do it, but I do not want you to come back and tell me, oh, I want to quit halfway. So then the onus is on me to continue. So
Wow.
So I think that was good parenting on her end because she asked me to take responsibility for my choices, and she supported me, but she also gave me sort of that pressure to just, okay, since you want this, then you cannot come back and tell me I don't want to do it halfway. So you cannot go year 1 or year 2 and say, Mama, I don't want to do it. You have to just plow through it. So I did plow through it through much hardship because I realized that when you go to LaSalle, I don't know whether you realize this, I don't know whether it's also in film and all that. We all come from different walks of life with different forms of expertise. So I have people in my class who are much older and they come with a wealth of experience. So I'm just like a boy who just finished secondary school. So to get to that level with them is a bit hard. So that was the biggest challenge for me in my foundation year. So it's okay. In art school, you have foundation year where you study everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
No more already, no.
No more.
No
No more.
No more. I mean, my time had, but now all the younger one know. Yeah.
I liked it lah.
I love the disappointment.
Right?
Yeah, because I think it's okay to.
Yeah.
It's nice to be exposed to all the
all
different
forms of arts.
form and mediums. Yeah. And then you sort of go to your specialized mode lah in year 1 and year 2. So anyways, to answer the question in short, how do I do it? Like I said, it's terrible lah. Okay, you know why? Because here's what I do. So I do content creation, right? I do content creation both podcasts and in social media, as in on a visual medium, and then I do my theatre bit, right? So that has rehearsals and that has stagings and all that, and I teach.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I feel sometimes so it can get overwhelming. But one thing I tell myself is because I'm a freelancer, I'm well aware of how I do my schedule. So I try to have pockets of free time in between. And I was just telling them before we roll. So there's been occasions where I just go on an hiatus for 3 weeks, sometimes to a month, where I just don't post content. So that's when I really just don't want to do it lah. You know, it's
Yeah.
not because I don't have the passion for it. No, it's because I know that I need to recalibrate myself
Yeah.
so that I'm able to continue. If not, burn out.
It's a long
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
lah,
Yeah,
guys.
burn out.
It's good that you say stuff like that also, because people like your Instagram has quite the following.
Yeah.
And like people will just, I think people, a lot of people
Expect,
have that idea that you just have to keep like
Yeah,
pushing out
correct,
content and everything.
yeah.
Which is not wrong, lah.
It's
I
not
mean,
wrong.
it's not wrong. I mean, it's good that they demand it,
Yeah.
but I don't do this full time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've not had the luxury of doing podcasts. So podcast is my bread and butter. If that is the case, then okay lah.
Yeah.
But I do like 10 other things.
Yeah.
So when they say when is the next Hantu coming, and I get it every time, I'm like, I just posted an episode yesterday, and
Yes.
today you're asking me again.
What you gonna ask?
What do you think I do? Like, do you not think that I have any time to just sleep?
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, the danger about free content, right, is that you keep expecting it to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask, like, because you mentioned something earlier on about like you were an actor first and then you came into writing.
Writing,
after that.
yeah.
And you said that you're predominantly a comedy writer. Like,
Yeah.
could you expand on that a bit more? Because I have found that it is incredibly difficult to write comedy.
Very difficult.
It is incredibly difficult to write comedy. And you said that a lot of the improv side of your acting has kind of fed into that writing. Like, could you elaborate a bit more?
Okay, so yeah, so I do agree that comedy, like, okay, someone said, why you want to do comedy? Because to make people laugh, it's way more difficult than making people cry.
Yeah.
And I do agree because again, comedy is very subjective, right?
Yeah.
So when I mean improv is I find myself very lucky because when I do comedy shows, I do it with another friend, which is Zuhairi, which is the other co-creator of Lepak One Corner, which is what we do. So the improv bit is very essential because we always work on a skeletal script. So it's either in point form or it's a synopsis, and then we just run through with it. We just run with it, So that in itself is a skill that we are very lucky to have because we are able to expand and elevate the script to another level with improv. I have done stand-up. Oh, that's rabak, bro. So I did stand-up Happy Ever Laughter, and I was very fortunate because I'm doing stand-up as a character. Okay, so when you do characters like Bonabeda or like Asamachi, it's very easy to get laughs because number one, you are a man dressed up as a woman, so that it's in itself is like ha 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 ha, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of scope for you to talk about, So whatever you talk, people are more easy. I mean, they take it easier because they have elevated that sense of judgment already, right?
Yeah.
But doing stand up as myself, I cannot. I can't. But having said that, I have written like dramatic pieces as well. I've written a play. So like for example, like I've written horror stories like for Cerita Hantu. This is in conjunction with Arts House Light to Night Festival, something like that. So for the past 2 sessions, we have decided to do something different, bring horror on stage. So that was a good challenge, and I enjoyed it. Writing something for horror and writing something for drama. I'm quite spoiled lah, but I would say that fortunately for me, writing for comedy is much easier because I only write A, B, C, D, and then all the way is just improv lah. So yeah.
That brings up kind of a point that I want to ask. So you've done Berhantu as a podcast, and you've done Cerita Hantu as like a stage
play,
performance.
yeah.
Like, do you find that there's a difference in terms of writing horror for purely audio and writing horror for something that's live?
Okay, so the thing with Berhantu is the stories are shared verbatim. So it either comes in a form of a very lengthy email, which I always encourage my listeners to send because I can't piece the empty plots by myself. That you need to tell me like what happened before. You need to give me context. So sometimes I tell them, please take your time to send me a lengthy email because I need it. I need the context, because then what happens is from the email I would just share it verbally like that. And then there are stories that has been shared with me from friends or family, and then those are the stories when they share, I have my notes and I write it in note form, you know. And then when I share the stories, I just go through the notes. Yeah, so it's quite seamless in that sense. But writing for a stage play, my biggest worry is that it's not going to be scary for the audience. I think writing itself is okay, but because horror, there needs to be the element of either surprise or the element of creepiness, right? So I was very smart. I said, you know what? I'm not going to write a horror play. Let's do a multisensorial experience. So we touch on their sense of taste, of smell, of touch, you know. So our audience go through this whole journey. So it's I set myself out to succeed in that sense lah, because if they were to just sit there and watch a horror play, you know, then it's like it's quite hard. It's quite hard. I must say it's quite hard to bring horror on stage, because it's different from watching a film, because you don't have a green screen, you don't have all these other things to make these things come alive, right? So you only have whatever that's in flesh and bone. So I made it like an experience of sorts lah, you know. So that was how I dealt with it lah.
Yeah, that is a really smart move to play with the multisensorial thing.
Correct.
Did you work with other people to or
so
did you come up with like all the senses yourself?
They wanted, okay, so what was the instruction from, or rather the directive from Arts House, was that we wanted to because they have like ghost storytelling sessions and all that for Arts House, but they wanted to bring from text to stage. And I just said, okay lah, I mean, if you guys want to do it, we can do it, but let's just be open to the idea of doing it as a multisensorial thing. And thankfully they were on board. So we decided to go on with it. And then for me, the challenge was, then what are the things that I need to do, right? So for example, in the last one, we had this session where, so in the Malay Muslim canon of things that they do to protect the house is, number one, to recite a prayer and spray every part of the room. So I had an actor spray the audience.
Wow.
With like water, with like jasmine water. And I use jasmine perfume and all that, just so that when they come in, it's an overwhelming,
like frangipani.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my god.
I didn't want to use frangipani because number one, I cannot find it. So that my only other flower that is quite close to that is jasmine, so we use that. So just things like that. So I think you just have to be smart about it. And so then I work it on the 5 sensorial manner. Okay, so in touch, what can they do? So maybe they can be sprayed water, maybe salt can be thrown at them or whatever. So sight, of course, very simple, whatever they see on stage. And then if like smell, maybe the smell of food, maybe the smell of rotting flesh or smell of flower. So just like that lah. Yeah. So that's how I crafted Cerita Hantu. And it proved to be quite well received. They loved it. I think the last one we had to do the first one we had to do 7 shows. So it was very exhausting for both my actors and for myself, because I was also performing in it as well. And then the next one, so the one that we did 7 shows was because of COVID. I think we were still in Doskan Orange, so they only had they had to go with one audience, 2 empty space, and then that safe distancing. So we only played to like maybe 40 audience members, and then we did it again this time around, and it's a full house, 120, but we did like 5 shows. So yeah, so we're doing it again this year. I mean, not this year, in January. So please keep a look out for it. You guys will of course get preview tickets.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. Have you guys didn't manage to get preview?
No, you didn't. Yeah.
So there's always a preview. Family and friends will get to watch. So
throw some salt at me.
I was about to say, I'm quite sure at least some of your audience appreciated getting sprayed with jasmine water.
Yeah.
Some of them were like, oh, okay, good.
Some were quite taken aback. But I think they sort of know because I will always start off the play with telling them that things will be thrown at you, and you will feel things both physically and mentally or emotionally. So just be prepared for that. But I felt very, very bad for this one boy. So he was seated right in front, and then there was a scene where I threw a glass of water, and I do not know what happened on that particular day. The entire content of that glass just landed on him. So he was just drenched. So I had to message one of my stage hands. I said, can you please pass him like a dry towel? But he was like...
Wait, was this during the COVID session?
No. Okay, this is the second one. So okay lah.
So you smell like jasmine.
Yeah, he smelled
all the way.
like jasmine water.
If you during the COVID times when like half the area was empty.
Terrible.
Then it just looks like you purposely did it.
Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. And then the things that happened while going through that whole process of Cerita Hantu at the Arts House. Wow, just amazing.
Amazing as in like ghost stories?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. You see? Like he start already.
Jumping right ahead.
You got no other like leading questions to this?
We had leading questions but like the
but like we will jump into ghost stories. Okay, but wait.
Yeah.
To set the context, because there was another episode where Wesley and Sufyan came on. They did mention that the art house is quite well known to have supernatural activity. Supposedly.
Supposedly.
So yeah, and I do know that people from the theatre, they are also superstitious like the people from film and TV. Because there's certain things that you cannot do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So maybe you want to share with us the experience.
No, but okay. Before I even go there, I think it's important for us to preface this conversation.
Yes.
Like, because I do berhantu alone, right? And there's no sparring partner whatsoever. So whatever values or whatever beliefs that I have, it's mine and mine alone, right?
Yeah.
But I'm dying to know, like, what are your thoughts about the supernatural? Like, do you believe in it? Have you experienced anything? If there's one incident, just summarize it before we go to my story.
Okay, you I'm sure yours is short, so you go ahead first.
Oh, okay.
Mine is fairly short. Like I think I can speak on both of our behalf for this, where we're fairly agnostic. It's almost a case of like, we're not gonna say it doesn't exist, but even so, we feel like whatever doubts or skepticism we might have, it's a case of being respectful.
Of course,
because our feeling is that the supernatural, ghosts and all this, it's not just superstition. It's like, especially in Southeast Asia, it's so much a part of who we are.
Yeah.
That you almost can't separate it from who we are as Southeast Asians.
Yeah.
So for us, it's a case of respect.
Yeah.
I think if we were to summarize our belief in that sense, that's the word we use, respect.
Okay.
I've had weird things happen to me before where see strange head shapes floating and everybody just keep quiet because we're like, is it a head shape or is it...
Where was this?
Just tell the story, man.
I just tell the story. It was along Upper Serangoon Road.
Okay, Chop, have you shared this story before in this podcast?
I cannot for the life of me remember.
We tell a lot, but it's okay.
Okay,
We will share with you, yeah.
A summary.
Yeah, so basically all of us were watching football at my friend's place, ground floor. Behind the TV is a big window into the condo's back area, which is, even during the day, is very creepy.
Okay.
It's like a whole bunch of trees, but then the trees seem to swallow light.
Right.
And then all of us were watching football, and then almost at the same time, all of us looked up from the TV to the window, and then we just saw this
bobbing head.
It's one of those things where you're quite certain it's a head, but because of the shadows and everything, it's not clearly can see face on it.
Yeah.
But all of us just were
okay.
We had one friend whose girlfriend clearly didn't get the memo, and then I'm gonna lean back as I do this from the microphone so that I don't clip the audio. She pointed at the head and then went, "What's that,
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, nothing happened.
Okay.
But it was that's one of maybe a couple of things that have happened
Right,
to me
right,
personally
right.
lah.
Okay,
But
okay.
I haven't had as many experiences as he has had.
Right. Okay, your turn. One story that
That's what.
like made you. Okay, so are you a believer?
If you were to classify me agnostic, yeah. But I jump between agnostic and atheism, even though I have experience. So to set the context, a lot of our listeners know that I'm the one who has a lot of experiences.
Okay.
50% of ghost map stories actually come from me,
Right.
my family. So both me and my sisters, I won't say that we have the third eye, but we have the feeling. Sixth sense. It's like we can feel it when something is very, very off.
Okay.
So there's this one time that really changed my perception. I have gone through multiple phases in my life where I am not spiritual, I am religious, not. But I was raised as a Buddhist lah. But at a very young age, I already renounced the religion. Then became an atheist. So at that point, when we started Ghost Maps in 2019, we're doing horror stories already, and I was a non-believer. I was straight out like non-believer. I'm not scared on. I would say like I'm not scared. But I also have seen stuff at that point of my life. But it's still like, I think can be explained by science to a certain degree, until that one night where I went out drinking with my friends, and this particular guy got hammered, like really drunk, and then we brought him down to void deck lah. Then we just chilling, three of us, and then out of nowhere, right, like he went from like dead drunk to awake, and then he started like doing some weird dance, and then both of us, we were shocked. We were like, whoa, what's this? And I thought he was just being drunk, like being dramatic. I tried to stop him, then he was super strong. Then I remember it was like at 12, and in Singapore, right, when like people get drunk, right, sometimes when they make a nuisance, police get involved, and they will be thrown into jail, like for the night lah. So we wanted to stop that from happening to my friend, and I told and we were like trying to find out how to stop it. And then there was this uncle who was passing by, just random uncle, like my neighbor lah. I have not seen him before, but he just passed by, and then he looked at my friend and I, and then I just looked at him and said, no lah, he's drunk, uncle, it's okay, don't worry, don't call the cops. And then he's like, no, he's not drunk, something is inside your friend. That's where we knew, because he started doing poses that supposedly certain entities or certain deities of the Taoist religion would do. So and then luckily my other friend who knew a little bit of the temple religion, and then they basically did the prayers, and then the spirit went away. And then they called temple people to actually subdue the spirit then and there. But I remember 4 of us, all men, trying to push him down, to no avail. That was when my core belief of like, sometimes there's nothing there lah, but now I'm like, sometimes maybe they could be there. Then you're like, oh. And then I remember sending him home. I was sitting in front, he was sitting at the back, still possessed, right? I was looking at him, then I just scold him vulgarities. I say, you leave my friend alone. Then I scold. He just looked at me, like in his face, but not with his voice, and he just high pitch. Then I was like, whoa, that straight away shut up. Straight away just keep quiet. I was like, I got no spiritual powers, man. I'm nobody. Okay, sorry. I just gotta keep quiet for the rest of the ride now.
Right.
And that whole night I couldn't sleep. Yeah. And I believe that this possession thing is still going on to this day. Not like still possessed, like the spirit has like something, it's a personal thing.
Yes.
Targeting this friend.
Right.
From that day onwards, I was like, yeah.
So we believe that, I mean, we meaning the Malay Muslim community or the Muslim community at large, right? I mean, so then it's very interesting that we're having this conversation, because I grew up Muslim, and I'm practicing So I think the word hantu is, I think, really just used quite flagrantly. It's not really hantu, as opposed to it being a demonic manifestation, right? Because as it is with religions such as like Christianity or Catholicism or Judaism or Islam, if you were to believe in God, you have to believe in the devil, right?
Yeah.
Because you believe in the devil, you believe in its subordinates and its various shapes and forms. So then, and all the genes and all that. So that is something that is real and something that we believe, because as part of the canon of being a Muslim is to believe that there are beings that exist, that coexist with you, you know.
Yeah.
So that has never been whether it's there or it's not there. For us, it's always been there. However, it manifests itself, that's a different thing altogether, you know.
Yeah.
But of course, even having said that, even having growing up believing that there is genes and there is the devil and all these different manifestations, there has been numerous occasions where I even question, like, I think science can explain it, like,
Yeah.
you know? Sometimes I think we really just, because we grew up believing in something, so that whenever something weird happens, we just it's that, and we just simply refuse to just open our minds and go like, maybe it's just your brain just tired, or like playing tricks on you, because it does happen, and our brain is a very powerful thing. You know, and there's been many cases whereby people suddenly possess superhuman strength because they get to tap into that, you know, part of their brains. So that is really possible, you know.
Of course.
So how I deal with it is I go in tandem lah, you know. I take it at face value lah, right? Like you guys, I take it at face values. If there really is no way for me to explain it, then I take it for what it is, you know. But if there's a way for me to rationalize it and say, no lah, maybe. And sometimes I do it because I do not want to scare myself, you know, right? Because you do not want to scare yourself, and you do not want to be that person and be like, everything also say it's because of something, you know. So I just say maybe it's just me being tired, and I've never, I wouldn't say I've never, I have experienced some things before, like, you know, personally, but I don't know where to start.
Maybe you start like why you want to.
Oh, why I want to do, okay.
Why you want to do berhantu? Why you want to tell ghost stories?
Okay, now, like I said, the market is saturated with ghost podcasts. Besides me, I can think of at least 3 other podcasts. In Malay, we're not talking. We're not talking about out of the Malay language. Okay. In Malay, there's already 3 or 4 of us doing it. Of course, in different angles. You know, there's one that was doing it on a religious perspective. You know, and then there's one that's doing it purely because I think it's just like an experience, like an experiential kind of sharing. And then there's one, I don't know whether you know Malam Seram, KC, right? So KC, right? So KC from a radio show, he does that. So he's very smart because he uses a lot of soundscapes and all that. I don't. So I think the appeal of berhantu is that it's very raw. It's just me and my voice. There's nothing. If you hear squealing or you hear whatever, I don't know where it's coming from. It's probably your brain playing tricks on you lah, because I do it in my bedroom as well. And the stories are shared verbatim lah, you know, and it's very like short bite-sized stories, you know. I think my episodes generally about 15 to at most if it's a really solid story, half an hour. But usually I'm like 20 minutes, I'm done. It's a scheduling thing. I'm like, I cannot say like, and then I have to do like many episodes, right? So I also play smart, like, okay, fine. Maybe instead of compiling 3 stories into 1 episode, I have 3 episodes of 3 short stories. So it's a very bite-sized information. But the reason why I wanted to do it was because, number one, to be really honest, I was out of ideas for content. Really out of ideas, because Zohairi and I, we've been doing Lepak One Corner for like, I think since 2013, 2014. So it's almost been a decade of like content creation. So there's only so many things you can talk about. And right now, we used to do very thematic videos, like, okay, like things you shouldn't, like things that happen during Hari Raya, whatever, blah, 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 all those kind of things. And then it came to a point where like, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's do parodies of anything that happens. So nowadays we're just like waiting, okay, we just wait for someone to do something stupid. So that's content for us, like, you know, it has come to that. But of course, having said that, we've also diversified ourselves as actors, both on stage and on TV. So Zuhairi is busy doing that. I'm busy doing this. I teach and all that, blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes to building the podcast, we're like, okay, what else can we do? So we've decided to diversify even within the comedy podcast. Okay, maybe we do like an improv sketch show. So we've been doing that. And then we do where we talk about current issues. Okay, and then we talk about relationship issues, but with a funny side to it. And then there was just one point of time where I just look at Zodia, I'm like, oh, what else? What else? Like, we're on TikTok. Like, God forbid that we have to do something, controversial just to get likes. But what else do we do? So then he just said, I don't know. He just said, I don't know. So I said, okay, fine. But then at the back of my head, I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I know that people love ghost stories, right?
Yeah.
Because horror stories, they transcend through demographics and age groups, so everyone loves a good horror story.
Yeah.
And then, of course, bearing in mind at the point of time, there are people who's really doing that, for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be that person that will get, what do you call that? When you get compared to, why are you doing this? Oh, you're just trying to follow in the footsteps, blah, blah, blah. So it really all just started from me just sharing. So I said, okay, you know what? I haven't even called it Hantu yet. I said, I'm going to record this episode alone. I'm just going to share the story of how my mom got possessed. Because it has happened like a few times in my life. So I think I want to share it, And I seek permission from my mom. Can I share your story? And just like, okay, fine, whatever. So I did. And I remember receiving a lot of DMs and said, hey, do you have more good stories? I really enjoyed that episode. So then starting from my mom, then I moved on to experiences of friends, growing up, and they tell me these stories, and I felt like, okay, maybe I should share these stories, and I did, and it just snowballed from there to the point where random people are sending me emails, random people are sending me text messages, random people wanting to meet me, and that was about almost 2 years ago, and then now it is just what it is. So now it's really like a sharing of people's stories, whether or not it's true or false. Like I said, I always take it at face value.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you skim through emails, when it's like this person is trying to take me for a ride. So I don't. And I've also stopped seeing people face to face because okay, we'll start with this story. Okay. Now the reason why I stopped meeting people face to face is because there's good people and there's bad people.
Yeah.
Right. And they have a lot of different intents. Right. So I remembered receiving this email from someone. Hey, I'm not usually on email. Can you text me on this number? Stupid. Go and text on the number. So now he has my number, right? So I text, hey, I'm Hafiz. Do you want to share a story? He said, yeah, because I know that you actually sometimes go to people's houses. So the house visits is usually visits for acquaintances and friends of friends who I know,
Yeah.
So they share stories. So this is the first time I'm seeing a stranger, right? A total stranger online. I'm not very bright lah. But okay, now I had to do it. So I said, I'll meet you at your place. And he says, yeah, I want you to meet me at my place. This is my address. I said, okay, fine. So I remember getting a text saying that I live here. Okay, so I said, I'll come at this date, at this timing. So when I was at the car park, I said, hey, it's not a multi-story car park, like it's one of those old estates with a regular open air car park. So I said, I'm here already. Which level? So that's the thing. He never told me his unit number. Because I just thought that, So I'm here already. May I know your unit number? And then he just sent me a text and he said, let's not do this. Because he said this in Malay. Kau kena kunci kan? He said, which translates translates to you have been locked. Right? And then he just blocked me. And I'm like,
What the hell?
Where are you? Because it's so scary. Because like, where the hell are you? So what he meant was, okay, now I do not know about this. Okay, so this whole locking thing has not happened to me once. It happened to me twice. The first time I was walking, I still remember. See, now my goosebumps are going. I remember walking in a shopping center. I think it was Plaza Singapura, and a random uncle just came up to me and said the same words. You have been locked, right? So I said, what does this mean?
Yeah.
And then I went back to the point of time when I remembered the only time I went through I wouldn't say a prayer kind of cleansing session, but my mother being my mother, because she grew up being possessed and all that, right? And I think I have the answer to why your friend always get possessed, because there's a reason for it. So I remember I was going to NS, okay? So this was eons ago, okay? So my NS, I was posted to school 2. So school 2 wasn't in Ladang, in Tekong. If you guys know, it's in Rocky Hill. So Rocky Hill used to be the old CISPEC.
Yeah.
So Rocky Hill is like about 5 kilometers away from Ladang. You have to take the Paitan, go all the way. So there's only 3 companies there. Yankee, Zulu and Quebec. I was in Yankee. And then Rocky Hill. So it's just vegetation all around, right? So I think my mom got very paranoid. So she said, hey, why don't we go and see an uncle who apparently is very well versed in all these things. And he didn't do anything. He just asked me to sit down, and then he used his hands to go around my back, and he said some prayers, and then he gave me water to drink. Like a 1.5 liter bottle to bathe in, and a 500 milliliters water to just drink. And that was it. So I didn't think anything about it at all. Because my mom just said, it's not to protect you, it's just to give you semangat, to give you the grit, I guess, to withstand whatever that you're gonna be experiencing in Rocky Hill, which I never experienced anything, thankfully. And then she said, so that's it. So that was the only thing I remembered. But then years ago, I get this random people going that you've been locked. So it means they cannot penetrate through me.
Oh,
Something like that. To that effect. So when I received that text, I was like, oh, means he's trying to be funny lah. You know, like, why would he say something like that? You know, you've been locked. So I made a conscientious effort to not see someone face to face because of that very bad experience, because I dodged the bullet there. Imagine if I were to meet him.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what might follow me home. So that was just like quite creepy lah. You know, the fact that he would say something like that.
But like your gut feeling was telling you like maybe he was trying to cast a spirit on you, or like black magic.
I mean, even if he wasn't, why would he say something like that?
Yeah, that's so
I mean,
weird.
to say things like that, it means that you know what you are doing, and your intent is not to see me, but because to know whether, you know.
the uncle at Plaza Sing, that happened before.
Before also.
Oh,
But maybe the uncle is
just random.
It's just like telling you that you have this ability.
Probably.
But it's locked.
Maybe
protection lah.
Lock for protection. Yeah, maybe.
That's good.
I see why your hair's standing now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking around the street and someone, hey, you got protection, right? Then you'll be like,
I mean,
bro, how did you know this about me?
It's a nice thing to hear, but also at the same time,
Quite creepy. The fact that
they know.
Yeah.
But when was this? Like the random listener?
About a year back. Quite recent, a year back. And then I got really freaked out because I'm like, shit, he can see me. You know, so I just quickly got into my car and I just quickly drove off.
At night? Oh my god.
So I'm like,
oh,
you know, and you know the open car park, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you are sandwiched with three blocks
Yep.
of just kitchen windows, right?
Oh.
And you do not know who is just looking at you from wherever.
Don't know how many people watching you at that point.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I mean, so now you all know, right? Like our listeners, that's why when you ask us to meet up to tell ghost stories, right, we usually will tell you very politely no, because of things like that. We know that these kind of things, they do happen.
Yeah.
Like so, it's really creepy.
Creepy.
Oh,
Very
I mean,
creepy.
it's both on the supernatural aspect and also on the human
Yeah,
aspect. It's like you wouldn't expect someone
They're
to do that.
evil people, yeah. And doing this podcast also made me realize just how rampant black magic really is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
you know, it's like you would think that our parents tell us as we're growing up, you know, they've gone through black magic and all that, and you're like, oh, it's a thing of the past. You know, people will probably practice it. You'll be surprised, man. Like, you know, people sell talismans and amulets and spirits on
we know.
Carousel.
No, yeah.
The fact that people do that.
No,
is
but like, I mean, I'm not gonna name names lah, but like the occult recently has been very popular. Like there's some people opening shops, selling occult stuff in certain shops. Later off camera, I will tell you lah who.
Yeah.
Very famous one, very famous.
Really,
Recently,
ah?
very famous. Like influencer level famous. That kind of level. Like
so what,
witchcraft-
influencers endorse them?
no, like the person is an influencer. Like witchcraft. We're talking about occult because it is fundamental. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Later I share with you. It came out in the news. Like it's quite. People, I feel like it's even more rampant now because people find it cool. They watch like Sabrina, the witch. Then they're like, oh, this one is like cool. That's westernized.
I didn't know about this until yesterday also.
True.
Yeah.
And then now there's there's a huge number of like new age medicine, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's people
Wicca.
Wicca, paganism, people who who address themselves as witches.
Yeah,
So I saw this video and I'm like, how does one get to the point where you can consider yourself
I don't know.
a
We
witch?
have friends who do that as well.
You know, but then, okay, I mean that, okay, because some of us are gifted, right?
Yeah.
Of
I
course.
mean that is of course the way to go. But like, what is, for lack of a better term, what is powering you to do your work?
Yeah.
You know, where is
Yeah.
that source coming from?
I think that's the most important thing.
you know, and yeah. So as a Muslim, I always believe that it's an evil thing,
Yeah.
you know, because how do you get to know someone's life? You know, someone's like, so okay, so I'll there's one incident where I saw this video, and it was a regular video. It was on TLC. It was called this lady, Teresa Caputo. She is a medium, so she goes around telling people about, oh, I have a message from a departed person, and he's telling, or she's telling me this, and then the person goes, okay, why do you know all these things? I take it at face value because it's reality TV, so nothing is real in reality TV.
Yeah.
Probably they already know it's alpha acting, but a family member said, you do know that the one that's whispering to the ear is the jinn, right? Then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a dead person. It's a jinn telling her all these things.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
only the jinn is able to go into someone's life and all that. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, as Muslims, we believe that the living world and the world that's hereafter never collides. You know,
Yeah.
there's no way you can talk to someone who's dead. You know, the only time that happens is that if a jinn manifests itself to become a loved ones. You know, so
Or you use dark powers to
help
reach
you.
beyond Yeah. I mean that's quite prevalent in different religions as well. Like
Yeah.
I've always believed that you don't open Pandora's box because
Yeah.
you never know what you will find.
True.
It's quite scary.
very.
Yeah,
Very,
I mean, I've been to I've seen medium work before, and then you can tell, right? Like it's very creepy. Like even though it's in a brightly lit temple, and then the guy will close his eyes. Then he's like almost hearing someone like, Then he will just start telling you stuff. Then you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I can't remember whether I've told the story before. When because me and my sister-in-law used to do a tattoo magazine, and at one point there was a monk. I can't remember what the actual, is it Buddhism? The Sakyan
Thai Buddhism.
Thai Buddhism. Yeah. So he was visiting Singapore and he had an appointment with like I think 1 or 2 customers. And so he was doing the tattoo itself. So for me, at the start when he started doing it, I was just mostly fascinated because like, it was the,
On someone else lah.
on someone
And
else. So
then
it's
documenting it lah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it was the
process,
bamboo pole
the
and
bamboo pole,
everything.
yeah.
So yeah, exactly. It was mostly like a process kind of thing for me. It's like, wow, the way he does it, like damn nice and everything.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he started chanting.
Oh,
And then
no.
as he was chanting, like he was touching the guy, and you can see the guy is like shaking.
Oh.
And that's when I started to get freaked out.
Yeah.
So after that, I think it was either the monk himself or the liaison for the monk turned to me and went, you want to get out? And I was like, no, not at all.
Correct.
And exactly that lah. It was like broad daylight, but in that moment you're like, I don't know. Like my understanding is that it's for good, it's for protection, everything. But
Yeah.
it's still very frightening.
No,
to
actually,
watch.
is because I'm half Thai, so like I do know. I did ask my mom about this. Then this kind of tattoo, they are not supposed to be commercialized. Is select people then
Yeah.
can have it. But like when money can be made,
Yeah.
commercializations happen. Then you have Angmos doing it as well.
Yeah, because
it kind of loses.
I think it all started when Angelina Jolie came into the scene.
Yes.
Right?
It lost its meaning lah.
Yeah, the
it
moment
lost
like
its
everyone saw
meaning.
like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean,
is
maybe
that?
she got chosen by the monk. The monk's like,
Probably.
you need this protection. I don't know,
Yeah.
but like it has become like, you can pay for this because certain things shouldn't be paid, right? And it's protection, and there is certain like silent tattoos. I'm not an expert about it, but I did read up about it for a little bit. There's certain things you cannot do. Like there's like 8. Apparently, there's like 8 rules. When you get it, you cannot break the 8 rules. If not, you have like bad luck for a long time.
Oh no.
Now I'm extra happy I did not get that tattoo.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's also very
that's that
painful.
also,
It's not
yeah.
the tattoo machine. It's like the
Yeah.
needle one. Yeah,
Oh.
it's super painful. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because you can actually imbue something in tattoos,
Yes. Susu.
something yeah. Which also coincides with scientific things because apparently you can see the susuk needles in X-ray.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know this. A friend who's a nurse said that. Do you know that if you have susuk, we can see it in the X-ray?
But the needles is inside lah.
Yeah.
But how do you?
But they
move?
don't
Feel it.
Feel it.
Oh my god.
So it's really like really small pieces, and there's different types of susuk. There's like apparently there's like the one in silver, the one in bronze. There's one that made out of diamonds apparently, susuk belian. So I do not know what they do. I mean, of course, it's been worshipped lah, you know, and it's been imbued by something. So they put it underneath the skin of your body or your face or whatever. For whatever reason lah, you know, maybe for success or to have confidence, you know, to be able to walk into a room and have everyone look at you.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's more like rampant than I think it is. So coincidentally, not coincidentally, ironically, my friend said that you'd be surprised at how many non-Malay ladies have it in their face. Like, you know, very unassuming.
Yeah.
Go for like a teeth kind of X-ray, and then you can see on the cheeks like needles and all that. So doctors call it charm needles lah. Even doctors like say, yeah, it's charm needle. There's nothing they can do about it lah.
Cannot remove also, right?
Yeah, they say
But
that.
is it for life?
I don't know. They say that the only person that can take it out is the person who put it in.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you want to take it out, you can, but there's a very rigorous set of things that you need to do. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's also like the pantang lah, like the things that you cannot do. Yeah, I had a friend who has a susuk, and I didn't know because he said, "Can we don't walk underneath the bamboo poles?" I said, "Why?" He just refused to do it. It's like, then he said, Singapore make a lot of shelter, why you all don't walk on the shelter? I'm like,
Okay lah, fair point lah.
fair point. So then after a while, but because then we got really close, and I'm like, no, what actually is the thing? And he just said, because I have it. And one of the things is not to walk underneath a bamboo pole hanged with underwear. So you cannot go.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he, I remembered him being very angry at us forcing him to eat a banana, like open a banana and just eat it like that. Cannot. He says I have to peel it and eat it.
Oh.
Yeah, and then eat satay. They say you cannot eat satay like from the thing. So he's one of those people who has to like take out the thing and then dip it in the
And eat
gravy
like
and
that.
eat it.
Ah,
I'm like,
Okay
why
lah.
ah?
Okay lah.
I said cannot. I just want to be careful. I said, oh okay.
The rules are not that hard to follow lah.
Yeah, quite okay lah.
if the rules were like, oh, you can't go under the rain. Oh my god.
Not terrible.
Very interesting rules though.
Very interesting. I don't know. It's very specific though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not have gone in that direction. Like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've straight off where we
No,
wanted.
that's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Like,
So the story about my mother, right?
Yes, yeah.
We will go back to that. The story about my mother. Why I decided to share with it is because on a personal level, I've experienced seeing my mother gotten possessed, and they say that if you get possessed, there is a hole in your body. It's a very So it's like there's like a hole in your body, which means that spirits can enter in and out. So those of you who have gotten possessed before, it's very easy for you to get possessed again because you've been marked.
like you have the door lah.
Like you have the door, yeah. So that's the
know.
reason why people get possessed like more than once.
Confirm more than once.
Yeah, confirm. So I grew up listening to stories of my mother being possessed when she was a young girl. I have never experienced it until one day when it happened in front of my eyes. I still remember. But it was very late into my life when I found out that she was able to be possessed again, because it was a story that I heard as a young kid before she was married, right? So I remember this one incident. Okay, let's start the story. So I was in NS. I got into an accident, right? So I had a tibial fracture on my knee. So I was on 2 months MC. Yay. Every NSF's dream is to get any form of MC away from hell that is tekong, right? I mean, no, not tekong. I already finished. So I was going to go to unit, and then I got that.
Rest.
Yeah, rest lah for 2 months, and then so I was on cast. I still remember I was on that cast. I was bedbound, and everyone was at work, and it was just my mother. The night before, she said, she wanted to. My mom has a habit of putting the laundry in the middle of the night because for her it's like in the morning when we wake up, the clothes are dry, I can bring it back in, so I don't have to worry about rain or whatsoever. When I'm at work, my mind's at peace. So she does her laundry in the middle of the night, like 10, 11 o'clock, right? So the clothes have a good 8 hours to be dried up, and then in the morning before she goes to work, she gets everything back into the house. Everything was normal. So she had another laundry session, but this time around I remember because I was in the living room and I heard her talking. So she was talking. So I said, "Who is she talking? She can't be talking on the phone, what?" And then she came in and she was doing her stuff. So she was alone outside, and we were staying at my uncle's house at the one of time in the northern part of Singapore. So the way of the house is it's one of those houses where your corridor and my corridor meets, and then at the side is the staircase. So there's a small space at the side where you can do your stuff, like you can do your gardening, whatever.
Yeah.
So my uncle puts a laundry stand there where you can do all your laundry. So that's where the staircase is, and then I just remembered her like talking and then laughing and all that. I didn't think much about it because I thought she was just talking to a neighbor whatsoever. That's it. Come back to the next day. The next day in the morning, my brother woke me up and said, "I think there's something wrong with Mama." I said, "What happened?" I don't know what's happening. She can't talk. She needs you to call the office to tell them that she cannot go to work. I'm like, "Then where are you going?" She's like, "I'm going to work." I'm like, "You guys love to put me in this spot." So I'm with my crutches and I'm looking at her and she's just on the floor doing this. They're just like body just going all over. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, I think she was in the midst of getting possessed. She just went, "Call work, sick." She was just talking in words, you know. I said, "Huh? Call work sick." So I know her office number, so I called the office. I said, "I'm sorry, my mother can't go to work." And of course the supervisor said, "Why?" I said, "She's not feeling well. Cannot talk to her." And I'm like, "No, you can't talk to her. She's in the midst of a possession." How do I say this to a supervisor, right? So I'm like, "She can't be on the phone right now. I think she will get MC, okay?" And then the supervisor says, No, I want to talk to her. I just want to ask her what's happening. I said, "She can't talk right now." And I'm like, I just feel like telling her like she's being possessed by a demon. No, but I didn't say that. Okay, I'm sorry, she's going to go and see the doctor. I'll see to it. Okay, she's not in a state to talk right now. Yeah. So then the supervisor said, "Okay, fine, whatever." So then I'm looking at her and I'm like, what is happening? She started smiling and she said, "Give her food." And I'm like, "Give who food?" I said, and she said, all of this happened in Malay, so I'm translating to you in English. "Give the old lady at the staircase food. She wants food. She's asking for food." And I'm like, "Which old lady is outside?" She said, "She's at the staircase. She's dressed," and my mom was very specific about it. "She's dressed in shambles. She needs cloth. She needs tobacco. She needs pulut. She needs glutinous rice, very specific things. And she needs all these things." She said, "You need to get her for that." And I'm like, "I'm not getting to." So I said, "Okay, I don't know what's happening." So I called my father. I said, "You need to get back home. Something is not right." And my mother was just doing this. So, okay, so one thing about my mother is that when she gets possessed, her hands will go like this. So it means
close,
opening
and close. I don't know what's happening. And then after that, I said something is wrong. So my father went back home, and then we took a Grab. We took a Grab to imagine that we actually took a Grab. It wasn't a Grab then, it was a taxi lah. This happened like a few years ago. So we took a taxi, and I think the uncle that was driving the taxi was like, "What kind of messed up family is this?" Because my father is doing this to my mother, and my mother is just like, I don't want to go. Where are you sending me? You're sending me to a Batman, right? Because she knows that we're going to my uncle's house, another uncle who was able to do this exorcism. It's like, I don't want to go, and I'm in front with my crutches, and I'm like, "Oh, she better not kick me like in the process, okay?" So then we went. So I remembered we went, and I was on my crutches. My father had to hold her, and we were at the door. So my uncle opened the door, and my uncle said, "Hey." So my mom's name is Wati. "Hey, Wati, you are here?" And she just screamed at like 2 in the afternoon. Thankfully, it was 2 in the afternoon because there wasn't anyone. It's like, "You're a bad man. I don't want to come to your house. You're a bad man." And then the uncle's like, "Oh, why? What's happening? Come." And she started screaming. So we had to force her into the house. And so my uncle was doing this whole possession, and it took 2 hours. It took longer because I remembered that it ended only around 7 o'clock. So maybe about 3-4 hours. And it's not how you imagine like exorcism to be in like movies. There's no thunder, there's no lightning, there's no nothing of that sort. It's very chill. But the only thing I can tell you is that you can really, even as someone who's not attuned to my sixth sense, you can feel that something is not right. Because I was sitting at the door, out by the door, the sofa, and then the door was open and my mom was inside the house. They were doing this stuff. So my uncle said, "Oh, it's not one. It's like a family of 7.
Holy crap.
Say a prayer, get out one, the other one come in. The other one. So they take like relay lah, marathon relay.
Holy crap.
And then my uncle said, just pray, okay? If not, you will get possessed. I'm like, why would you say that to me? Like, please pray in case you get possessed. And I'm like, you're saying that to me? I'm like, what's happening? And then he just said, this thing is going through the door, going out, in and out. And I must tell you guys, like I said, I'm not in tune with my sixth sense, right? Like Kyle is. But you really feel a presence outside the door.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon, you know, it's really bright, but the house feels very dark. You know what I mean? It's like, what is, it's quite messed up. The fact, I never want to go through that feeling again, that the feeling of that, I know something is outside. You can't see anything, there's no one outside, but it's just that sense like, something is outside by the door, and then because I'm the kind of person like, I want to see. So I was just staring. No, because it's like, for me, it's like, if I see it, I know it, then I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the uncertainty that gets me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the not knowing that gets me crazy.
Yeah.
If I know it, if I see it, then I'm like, okay, fine, right? If I pay or whatever, at least fair. It's a good payoff. I see it, right? So I'm just staring and I'm like, I'm like, you know, mumbling prayers under my breath, and I'm looking and I'm like, there's nothing. But then I'm like, wow, this is really quite insane, because I can really feel something. And then the last part before, I still remember the last part before that thing left, that thing made an agreement saying that, okay, I will leave the body, I'll not go again. Here's something. So my mom went hand outstretched, gave like something to my uncle, and my uncle took it and then he put it inside in his hands or in a cloth, I don't remember, and he said they need to throw it somewhere. And that was the only thing I remembered. And when my mom was being possessed, I remembered taking a peek at her face, and I know exactly what you're talking about. When you see your friend and you know it's your friend, but you know it's not your friend.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know it's your mother. Physically, you know it's your mother.
Yeah.
But if you look closely, my mom's eyes becomes like almost very glassy. Like there's like a sheen to the eyes. And I kid you not, because I'm her son and I know my mom very well, and then I've seen her face a million times. But at that day when I saw her face, it's a face of a man. It's really a face of a man.
Yeah.
So when I look at my mother, I'm like, yeah, that's not my mother. Like, you know, like first glance is your mother, but when you really stare at your mother, you're like, no, that's not my mother.
Yeah.
So you can really see them manifest, even physically.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was done. And then another incident was when it happened at the wedding. Out of all places, Malay wedding, boy dad wedding, a lot of people. So again, the same thing. Okay, so what happened was apparently someone wanted to send something to the bride and the groom. Kacau lah, trying to be funny. Just nice, unlucky, my mom's VC was just there, so that thing kena my mom. And because my mom has that, remember that hole where they can go through? So she just went like that. She just said, something's gonna happen. Like the fact that she can preempt me, said something's gonna happen. I don't feel good. Where is all my sons? She said that. I'm like, we're all here. And then I remembered because my cousin, who's the bride, who's getting married, have asked me to be, you know, like how like Chinese weddings, like Malay weddings, they always have like, got the gantry, to do whatever, right? So I was being asked to do that. And I remember being at the wedding dais at the other side of the HDB block, and across me I can see my mother. She has started to do like silat, and I'm like, oh no,
Not a good sign.
oh no. And then I just quickly did the whole thing, and I went there. And she just started screaming. Tanya dia kenapa dia datang. Like ask him why did he come. And I'm like, who is this person that you're asking to come? And he was just pointing to a direction, and she was just doing silat. And you know how messed up people are nowadays. Like people always record. So I'm like, I don't want my mother to be in social media, that woman who So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, I have to remove her away. So I told my brother, I said, let's just carry her. So like the four of us carried her across the car park into my uncle's house, and we did another session of like exorcism of sorts, just to get it out of the body. But I remembered that being very vivid because she was lucid before she got possessed, and she said something's going trying to enter my body, and then she did that thing, So that was like my clear sign. Yeah, and apparently these things don't leave you alone because they say that they will leave you. In Islam, we believe that the devil is a trickster, right? So they will trick you into thinking whatever. But so don't believe them, right? They're the biggest tricksters.
Yeah.
So then me being me, I tried to rationalize, my mom's just maybe bipolar, or my mom's just having a psychosis, or my mom is having depression and this is just her manifesting her depression.
Yeah.
And we did seek professional help, And then the therapist said, there's nothing wrong with your mother. I can't give a diagnosis because she's responding to everything well. But the therapist is Malay, and then the therapist just said, I don't know, I don't want to, maybe you should just seek help for something else. I just went like, thanks, that's $180 gone. when I could have just, used that money to whatever. Okay, anyways, but whatever lah. So anyways, so my mother would have episodes like after she gets possessed, and then the spirits get eradicated away from her body. For about a week or so, she'll be like alone and she'll be washing her dishes and she'll be like, stop talking to me. And I'm like, who is she talking to? And then whenever I ask her what's happening, she said, oh no, this thing is just trying to get into my body. And I'm like, really? Yeah. So the reason why I also say that maybe it's psychosis, maybe she's bipolar, whatsoever, is because this thing will always come to her when she's sad. When she's feeling down. And the thing that this thing will always tell her is that, oh, you are sad? Shall we go to level 12?
Oh shit.
And it's like, are you sad? Shall we go to the beach? There's a lot of water there. Let's go for a swim. So then my mind is going like, oh, it's, how we talk about inner demons? It's a psychological thing, right? When you're feeling depressed and you hear voices in your head telling you to commit suicide. And this is true stories of people who really commit suicide because they hear voices in their head. And it's scientific. It's not because of a spirit whatsoever. So I wanted to rule that out. So I said, you know what? I think my mother is going through some psychotic disorder or something like that, Because I think prior to that also, because my grandmother passed away, she got through a divorce and all that. So maybe all this trauma is manifesting itself and she hasn't had the time to really, let go of all that trauma or to really grieve because she's working and she's raising a family, So maybe that's the reason why it's taking toll on her mental health. So I was like, okay, I was pretty adamant. It's like, it's something that's mental. And the therapist said, no, it's not. Everyone has trauma and everyone's coping very well, How well we cope depends on our surroundings, And she's fine. You don't have to worry about her. She's fine. She just maybe needs time off from work, And that was what they always said. She maybe should take unpaid leave for 1 week, bring her on a holiday, let her get her mind off things. And we did that, But then there's that thing that continues to nag me like, oh, then this means it's not science anymore lah. Then there's like, I can't explain it anymore. I can't quantify it in terms of labels or whatsoever. So it's just something that's quite sinister at work lah, And that was the thing that I had with my mother, trying to navigate that. Is it really science or am I just thinking too much about it, And then when I did seek help, professional help, and the answer is no, you are left with nothing but just your belief of the supernatural, that it is at work, So then that sort of further solidifies my belief in that there are things that it is unexplainable, So that was the thing,
That must have been like even more difficult for you? Because like you were saying, you're the kind of person that I want to. I need to know what.
Yeah,
it is.
I need to know what it is because I mean, to be able to take control of your problems is to know what the problem is, lah. You know
exactly.
You need to quantify your problems if I can make sense of it. So the fact that I couldn't, and then just that lah.
I want to go back to like the one where you're saying that you brought your mum in a cab to your uncle's place.
Yeah.
So you said that your mum passed something to your uncle. Was it like something physical?
No. It was just her opening up her hands, and then my uncle took it, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but so apparently he took something out from her.
Your uncle can see lah.
My uncle,
because he was like saying there's like 7.
No, so okay, I do not know. Okay, I've never really asked my uncle whether he can see things, but he's the kind of person who's able to maybe not see physically lah, but see in shapes, in colors, or in shadows and all that. Maybe he sees that. So interestingly, the daughter is taking into his footsteps, and the son-in-law also taking into his footsteps of being a healer. And the daughter is not just a regular lady, like she. Okay, so the thing with me is that you always associate people who are uneducated to be able to do all these things.
Yeah.
Because it's a terrible misconception, and it's a terrible thing. But like, you don't like. I grew up knowing that educated people won't bother about these things because they're able to find science behind it, right? Only people who are not aware of the world, of how it goes, would believe in these things, and we're empowered to do all these things.
Yeah.
But the daughter is, like smart, with degrees and all that, and she just had a calling. She said, I want to help my father because I also have a gift. And so I remembered her just when my mom was in the process of getting possessed and doing the whole trying to get out the spirit out of the body. I noticed her because she was she was being an apprentice to her father, so she was at the side. She was just doing stuff, and I remembered she did something. It was so like, what was happening? So she was saying a prayer, and she was just seated across my mother. So my uncle was behind my mother, just trying to get things out. And she was doing something with her hands, and then she just turned to my mother, and then my mother just like went like that, and she just started vomiting. So I'm like, what is happening? Like, what kind of Chun-Li superpowers do you have? Like, what kind of Street Fighter shit is this? Like, wow. And she just went like that, and then my mother just went, bro. And I just look at her, I'm like, not bad. I'm like, and I was in awe. I was like, not bad. Like the fact that she's able to get a reaction from her. And she didn't even touch my mother. She didn't even say anything to my mother. She was just at the side, just doing stuff. And I'm like, interesting. Yeah.
Was this the cousin that was getting married?
No. Yeah.
But that's pretty impressive. It's things like added detail when my friend got possessed, right? Then the temple people came. Then obviously the one who was in charge, he did the exorcism, right? He said some prayers, and then he the guy went limp.
Yeah.
Immediately limp.
So I always wondered, like, what kind of, is it an energy force, or is it,
I don't know. It's probably prayers,
Probably
like manifesting in energy or something.
Maybe,
I don't know, but that's that when you see this, oh my god, wow, this is like some Marvel movie shit.
I don't know what it is, but I would never ever mess with your cousin.
No la. I mean, she's very nice.
I mean, I'm sure she's very nice, but still at the same time, it's like,
but like that's towards the spirit, man. That's towards the entity that that is possessing. But actually, I come to notice when people's perception change, it's usually after they witness a possession.
Yeah, because it's in flesh and blood. Like, you really see someone, and then you can't
explain it away.
Like how? Right. Like,
but we always, as Singaporeans, we grew up in a very multiracial, multicultural manner. Like, I grew up watching Taipusam, watching Panguni, when they stand as like a monkey god, or they stand like that, like Lord Ganesha and all that. And I'm like, wow, I mean, of course, when I was young, it's wow. But as I grow older, I'm like, oh no, to know that what's inside their body is just, So like and then I've been through like Buddhist Taoist temples, where they get the person to sit on a red chair, and then the tanki will do stuff, and then they will just start bouncing, and then they just get into, and they just become monkeys, or they just become a snake, or they become deities and all that. And I'm like, it's really fascinating, and of course there's non-believers like, I mean, you can't shake them off, but like as someone who has seen it in real life, it's very hard to be a non-believer.
Yeah.
It's very hard because even if it's not a deity, even if it's not the monkey god, even if it's not whatever, for a fact that there's something supernatural at work. Because how would someone be able to just do that?
Yeah.
I do not know lah. Maybe man. But okay, I have a very interesting story about therapists. Because we always talk about science versus supernatural, right? So I had this experience where, in my research of getting stories for Cerita Hantu, the first one, I decided to get stories from 3 different views: a New Age healer, a psychiatrist or a therapist, and a man of religion. So a man of science, a man of religion, and a man of beliefs. Like I wanted to do it, so I got 3 stories. So I went to see this therapist that I know personally, and I asked him, in all your years of being a therapist, and you know how to quantify mental illness and all that, right? Have you had any experience where a patient comes to you and you just know that it's not mental illness? And he said, yup, there's one incident that shook me. So he shared with me this story. I want to share with you this story because it just boggles me. So he said there was this man who came to his office, was being referred to from IMH for psychosis. So one of the things for psychosis is you have illusions of grandeur. Like you think you're a god or whatever, right? But he said this man was not showing these signs. This man's thing was he's talking to his mother, and his mother has passed away. So his initial assessment of this patient was that the trauma of losing his mother manifested itself to him seeing the mother at the side. Because it happens when you miss someone so much, when there's trauma, you manifest them. That's your way of coping. So you see a dead person, you see your dead father, you see your dead mother. So he said that was my initial assessment of him. And then he just wouldn't stop, because he said, I saw this guy 3 or 4 times, and by the 4th time I was very frustrated because I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through him, because I would pose the same question throughout. I said, where's your mother right now? Whatever. And he always said, my mother is with me, beside me. And he said, in this office? He said, yes, in this office. So then the therapist said, in all my years of doing this, I ask like, the do's and don'ts. So I asked a don't question. I said, okay, fine. Talk to your mother and tell me what she's telling you right now. So then the guy said, you wait. So literally the guy went to the side and looked to an empty space and asked the mother, why are you here? Why don't you want to go away? Why don't you want me to get well? And I said, sorry, my mother is very upset with you right now. She doesn't want to talk to you anymore. And she doesn't want me to talk. So being a therapist, you're alone in that room, right? With another patient. So then the therapist just went ahead and asked, why is she upset? Why doesn't she want you to talk to me? Mak, kenapa tak nak orang berbual dengan dia in Malay? Ma, why don't want me to talk to him? And then he looked at the therapist and he said, you have a baby, right? And he said, there's no way. He said, there is no way this bugger would know who I am and my family, because I see him once a week. I do not know who he is. So he said, what does he know? What does she know? And then the boy smiled, and the boy said, you have a young baby girl, right?
Oh, crap.
Your wife just gave birth, right? And then the therapist just went, why? And he said, you don't ask me any more questions. If not, my mother will take away your baby. And so he just pressed the button. Ding! The doors open, and he just said, ask him to leave. So he said, I was shaken. I was like, I would never expect that to happen in my line of work, because I deal with mental illness day in and day out, and I've had people have complete meltdowns, thinking they are this and that and this and that, and there's always a scientific explanation to it. But he said for the first time ever in my life, he said, I felt a presence in that room. I know that we were not the only two people in that room. I felt someone standing. Okay. Because he said, okay, fine, then where's your mother now?
Behind you.
Yeah, my mother's behind you right now. So he just pressed the button, and then the nurses came in. So he said, yeah, that was the thing that he said, I can never, until today,
Damn.
I do not know who was that man. And he said, as a professional, I had to put my foot down and said, I'm not going to talk to this person anymore. So because I can't give a diagnosis, right? You know, after 4 sessions, I can't give a diagnosis. My assessment is just that he's going through trauma. But when he said something about my family member, and there's no way he knows who the hell I am, he said, you have a baby girl. So I asked, so it's true, I have a baby girl? He said, of course I have a baby girl. I just gave birth. My wife just gave birth like 6 months ago. And I'm like, mind blown. I'm like, so it's true lah. So I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah.
so then the intersection of science and supernatural cross, you see. Then like, hey, cannot last, yeah. Then like you think to yourself like, interesting. Like a therapist, like he's the last person you want to hear a ghost story from, you know?
That's the thing, like even if right, like the best case scenario is lucky guess.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't wanna treat that guy.
Would you roll the dice on it?
Exactly. I wouldn't want to roll the dice on it. I would not want to roll whatever, like no matter what your thoughts are on that, right? Like, okay, maybe it's a lucky guess or anything. But that just sounds too dangerous to roll dice on.
Yeah. And I think also because he was a new father lah, and I think under what no circumstances am I going to take any chances. So he just said, no, I'm not doing anymore. Yeah, so he said, yeah,
that's pretty creepy.
But he said, I can never forget the guy smiling. Because he's just very like reticent, like don't want to talk and all that. And he said that before that whole incident, he was actually getting quite frustrated because he said, why is this doctor? The thinking is like, why is he asking me the same question? Because the thing with therapists and all that, they will ask you the same questions again and again because they want to calibrate whether you're saying the truth or not, you know, right? It's the same as like police inspectors asking the same question again and again and again, or a lawyer asking you again and again, right? So then he was getting very frustrated because the idea, the truth of him talking to his dead mother is not getting into this therapy. So he was very frustrated. But he said the moment he smiled, it was a smile. He just went like that. Just a normal smile. And he just said, you have a young girl, right? And he just went like, nope, not dealing with this today.
Okay. At that point in time, I would have just pressed the button.
Yeah, I would have pressed the button.
I wouldn't have gone any further, like, okay, bye.
So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
A man of science, you know?
A man of science.
Yeah.
So right now, right, we can go into a few questions from your fans.
Oh, okay.
Great.
So there's one guy who's asking, did any one of your listeners come up to you to tell you that your stories, right, actually triggered something?
Yeah.
Like when they listen to your ghost stories, then something happened.
Yeah. I can't remember specifically what happened, but there was a lady who said, Hafiz, kakak so sorry, but kakak cannot continue listening to your podcast. I said, why? I said, no, it's not that kakak don't want to support, but something happened when I was listening to your podcast. She said, I can't remember exactly what happened because it was quite some time ago, but she said that while she was listening to her podcast, and she says, people listen to podcasts at different timings of the day. So she's the kind of person who would listen to the podcast while she's doing housework. She said, I'm always alone at home because my kids are at school. The kids are at school, husband's at work. I'm a homemaker. I'll be doing my chores alone, and I'll be listening to your podcast. And there's been occasions where I listen to your podcast and I'll hear running inside my house, and then after that I'll just switch off.
Hell no.
Yeah, she said running inside the room, and I'm like, who's at home, Kak? She's like, kakak tak ada orang kat rumah. There's no one at home.
I like how you very nicely ask, who's at home?
Yeah, like just a silly question just to ask, like, who's at home?
Just hoping that, like, you know,
you hope you know it is, but you hope that it's not.
Hey, but you'll be surprised, you know, when you listen to this kind of things, it invites them, you know.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
I always say this phrase. You met him and I listened to your podcast when he told his stories. Dennis Chu, right? Like he has the radio show, right?
Yeah.
Then his tagline is in Mandarin. 你在听，他们也在听. When you're listening to it, they are also listening to it because they are like, you're talking about me, right?
Yeah,
then they will be around you.
Yeah.
which is like, wow, bro, that's like next level creepy, man.
You've had Dennis show on the show. Have he talked to you about what happened?
No, he has not been on our show.
Okay.
But I do listen to their podcast. Like I said, I listen to a lot of horror podcasts.
If you manage to get him,
He has a
solid.
lot of stories. Yeah.
Especially what happened in the Conti room. I mean, like the room where they record the radio. I mean, it's the radio department of Caldecott last time. And now in MediaCorp.
Okay,
Very
so
interesting.
yesterday we had guests, the podcast that's actually hosted by MediaCorp, true crime podcast Stranger Dangers, our friends from Stranger Dangers. Right? So one of the producers is actually working at MediaCorp. So he did tell us that the Conti room is extremely creepy.
Yeah.
And especially when they return the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, being a film student, I was studying, then we did do a MediaCorp tour, the original campus, the Caldecott one.
Caldecott. Oh.
And we went there in the afternoon.
Oh.
That
The
place
worst.
is extremely. We went to the radio tower
Okay,
lah.
so the radio
Oh my
tower is very
God.
infamous.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the thing is, only 2 offices upstairs. So it's either 91.3 or 98.7 FM. The rest, guess what, brother? It's in the basement.
What the hell?
So literally you go down the lift and then there's this long alleyway, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a polyclinic. Like you wait for the doctor's room, right? But like literally, like I cannot imagine myself. Like, can you imagine doing a 10 to 2 show, a slot, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and you go down and you're alone there. I mean, yes, there are other DJs in that room, but you are alone in your little...
Every DJ in their own room.
And it's a long pathway, you know. So like if you are at the last door and something happened to you, you gotta run your way out.
Yeah.
See, it's madness,
Yeah.
It's creepy, right?
Yeah.
Creepy.
When you went, because like there was one, like this is ages back, and I think it was still at the Caldecott site. I had to appear on 987. So when you were like, I was like, okay, what wasn't that bad? Why am I remembering this wrong? Then you went like, oh, 987 is on top of that. Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 997 is on top.
Yeah. But even on the top ones, there were stories. The fourth floor toilet.
Oh.
Yeah. So people will go in and then at midnight they do the midnight shift, and then they will hear someone entering the toilet after them. After that, right, then they will go out and there's no one. Got toilet flush somewhere. You like urinal flush, that kind of thing, but there's no one.
Yeah.
It's
and
creepy.
the urinal flush is not like now. It's the you have to
Yeah,
take the lever.
that is but the basement one, there was a photo that went crazy viral.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the photo. It's this radio DJ. I think one of the Mandarin radio channel. So she took a selfie. Then it's like the polyclinic doors,
door,
but they got glass, got reflection, right?
Yeah.
Behind her, there was a reflection of a headless woman.
Yeah.
Clear as day. Later I show you the photo.
Yeah.
It's damn scary.
It's on the internet for you to see. Yeah.
It's clear as day. And you guess what? She was wearing pre-war Chinese clothing. Traditional Chinese clothing.
Yeah. And
No head one,
Yeah.
No head one.
But understand, Caldecott, because Caldecott is the whole stretch of road. If you go down, it's already Bukit Brown Cemetery.
Yeah. And I mean, I think during the war times, they were using it as like the Japanese Imperial forces were using it as like a base or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, and people have seen Japanese soldiers walking around.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah. The one that creeps me out the most is the props room lah.
Oh, the props room.
Yeah.
Because it's like a airplane hangar like that, right? So they just dump everything all there. So if you want to go to the props room, you have to go all the way from the radio to from the main one to the radio, and then there's at the side, right?
Yeah.
So it's just filled with like wardrobes and furniture and blah blah blah. It's like IKEA on steroids, but everything is there.
But I think most of the thing got entity on. Because a lot of it is second hand, right?
Second-hand.
So they just stop over the years. So there's a lot of like stuff there.
Yeah.
And the human to props ratio is like way off. Like there's probably like 2 people there working. Then there's
And they just at the counter. I mean, at the door.
It's beside the big tree.
Yeah,
the
correct,
big
correct,
tree, right?
yeah.
Oh my god. I remember seeing that. I was like, wow,
Caldecott.
goosebumps.
Interesting.
I'm kind of curious about this big tree because you mentioned it before. So now
Yeah.
I want to see the big tree, but also at the same time I don't want to see the big
But
tree.
it's weird though, because the new building, right, supposedly also haunted. Because I have friends who work in Suria telling me that, we OT a lot. Then always got weird things happen.
Where is the new building?
Is this
Stars Avenue.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's like this silver building, like super posh.
Yeah,
In One North lah.
One North.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
where,
like
where Seagate and all
yeah,
that.
so my next question to you is that, I mean, obviously you work a lot on TV shows as well. Have you experienced anything or heard any like supernatural stories.
I've heard numerous stories lah of things happening back in Caldecott and even in this new Mediacorp campus, but I've never experienced anything supernatural. But if there is a story that was close to my heart, is because now I'm doing part-time radio, right? So my slot is 10 to 11.
Oh,
very weird. So I'll be there always at night, and then they say be careful because when you park at the car park, there's a flight of stairs that will lead you to Mediacorp. And he says because I don't know why I always listen to these stories because it messes up in my head. So it's like a 3-prong kind of staircase. So he says there's been occasions where people will come and then they will see a head just popping, looking from by the wall. And I'm like, I don't need to listen to this right now. So like when I finish at 11 o'clock, when I go down, I always look down. I don't. And I hate sensor lights.
Yeah.
Because
they really don't work.
They don't work.
Oh.
Yeah.
So literally, I go down the flight of stairs in darkness.
Yeah.
What does the head look like?
I don't know. I don't want to ask.
Do you need to do a shift later?
I didn't ask. No. Tomorrow. I didn't ask. Yeah. No, cannot.
But when usually you do a shift, right? You're alone, right?
With another person.
Oh, you have,
thankfully,
you have.
thankfully, yeah, yeah. But there was one time, someone said a story about the lift to the radio level.
The new one or the
new one. They said that the old one, a lot of stories.
Yeah, old one is obviously.
Old one, like you will hear live, doing live, it's a live show. You hear people breathing, or hear people like muttering some words or singing, and I've had like radio DJ friends who like dah biasa lah, like I'm used to it lah. So sometimes like for example, because you're alone, right? Midnight grave. So like midnight shift, graveyard shift. So last time in the era of CDs, they always take up the CDs. And then I said, I want to go toilet. So commercial break, go to toilet outside, come in, everything's on the floor, whatever. And then like, who's the one doing all this? So a lot of things happening in Caldecott, but the one that happened in this one was a DJ, I'm not going to mention names, a radio DJ from 89.7, who said that this person saw a girl in the lift. So it's now it's very big on security, so you have to tap the card. So there's no way for her to be inside the lift without a card access. She said this wasn't a staff, because I know all the staff there. I've been working there for years. And she saw a lady, and then she went in, and then she went out. The girl didn't go on the same level. So he was like, okay, weird. And then someone, another DJ who was going to the toilet, said, hey, who was that girl? I said, I don't know. She said, why is she dressed in white? And like, no, she wasn't dressed in white. The one that I saw was just dressed in normal clothes. I said, nope, she was dressed in a white summer dress and she had long hair. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I heard the story.
Yeah.
They were telling it on air the other day. Yeah, so
that lift is I mean I don't know now.
But the thing is that it's such a new building in
very
a
new.
relatively new area.
Correct.
So the ghost moved from Caldecott lah. No, that's the only theory, right?
Either that or it's an existing ghost from that
The
area
area
lah.
lah.
Maybe I don't know.
Because like
but I didn't know what was it before it became Mediacorp.
mostly jungle.
Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I have a friend who's a producer, like, back in 2008, the government had plans. This area, right, all media.
Media, yeah.
So it's forest.
The media,
Then-
they call it media circle.
So they build it up from ground. So it cannot be cemetery, right? Then just forest. It could be like forest periods, but not so much, right?
Yeah,
It cannot be like this whole building, like
Correct,
It
correct.
seems a bit fast.
No, but like, we've
True.
talked about this before also lah. Like in the forest, just because like it's just forest doesn't mean that
Things
things haven't happened out there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Things are there. Okay.
Wow, but like hardcore, man, like yeah. But like any sad stories, like on set.
On-set stories.
Yeah.
I didn't experience it, but someone said that this happened to her. They were filming, and then the director started screaming. It's like, oh, who is that? So this director is known to be very like
Angry lah.
angry. That who is that idiot standing in front of my camera? Ask him to go away.
Oh.
They thought it was an assistant, but they said there was a man standing there looking at the camera like that. Oh, ask him to go away, and then the rest of the crew are like, "Bang, there's no one there." And he look. And okay, that's not the most messed up part. The most messed up part was the crew looked at the projector, and he saw also. And then they're like, "There's no one." And then the director looked, and then the director looked, and the director went like, "Okay, start shooting. Okay, let's go." That's like that, no? Yeah.
I heard a version of that also. Yeah. The version, the different is that I say, "Okay, rap ready, go home."
Do they?
Yeah.
Because it's scared, right?
Is there like? Because I know for like when it comes to horror productions, there's always like somebody will pray before the production starts. But like, is there any precautions that people take for like just normal shoots?
I would think so lah, but I've never seen it being practiced in front of me before. Because I think for filming it's quite nomadic, right? You go to different places. So I've never seen it in practice. But in theatre, yes, we have like a. Or I do it because I want to protect my actors as much as I possibly can, and So which brings me to the whole Cerita Hantu stories of what happened. When I was performing there. Arts House, amazing place, a place of history.
Yep.
So fun fact: the Arts House is possibly the only building left in Singapore that is the oldest of its kind. So it used to house the Temanggung, and it used to house. It was a storeroom for the government. It was a hospital at one point of time. It was a justice court, and there was a prison there at one point of time, and now it's a place for the arts. So it has gone through many lives, it has been around for about 130 over years, if I'm not mistaken, ever since independence, way before independence. So they say that there's a lot of stories happening, blah 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 blah. But I'm like, as a theatre goer and as an artist, you just want to go there and perform and call it a day, bye bye. You don't want to have to deal with these things. But unfortunately, we have to deal with a lot of things. So some of the stories that I can share with you is, so we were performing at the Black Box. So the Black Box used to be the Prime Minister's office. And it's a nice place. It's a fairly small space, but it's intimate enough to fit in about 120 people. And they said that there's the spirits line inside the Black Box, evidently so. So the one that was telling me was a security guard. So security guards have a lot of stories, right? So they're like, I do not know why I do not know what prompted him to share with me this story. So he just said, "Hey, I heard that you're doing ghost stories here." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You're not scared lah?" I said, "No lah, it's all acting lah. You acting, but just be careful." Because I kena. I said, "Okay, now that's good." Because I have a podcast, right? So nowadays whenever I meet people, I'm like, "Hi, what's your name?" "Oh, Kyle." "Okay, next, where do you stay?" "Okay." After the third question, I'll be like, "Any ghost stories to share?" Because I need content. So I asked, okay, Cik, you tell me what happened. So he said that I remembered when I was working, and they have to do like a night prowl, of course, like a night prowl. He said I went into the Black Box, and then I felt someone tugging my pants. So when I turned, it was a young boy. And his eyes were black, black eyes, and he was just tugging at me. And he said to me, "Help, help, help, help." Oh, what the hell is happening? So he said, I do not know why. You know how sometimes when you are going through a traumatic experience, you can't really
doesn't register.
It doesn't register. So he was like, "Why is there a young kid who left their kid here? It's really 12 at night." He said that, and the kid just ran off, and he just went like. So when the kid ran off, then he had time to process, and he's like, "Hey, what was it I saw?" Okay, so he said, "Never mind." And he said there's occasions whereby so Arts House has got 2 levels. So the one on the lower level at the other side, nearer to Boat Quay area, was where the prison used to be. And there was, fun fact, there was an execution room there. So he said there's been occasions where I would hear crying, I would hear lashing of whips, But there's no one. Now it's like a gallery, It's like an arts gallery, but so it's like, I don't know where this news coming from. So he said, "Adi, I want to ask you," and this happened on the second day. So as part of the multisensorial thing, when you come to my show, I will put like pillows. I will tie them up to look like a pocong. You know what's a pocong, right?
Yep,
And I will cover it with like batik cloth. That piece of prop is being brought into the into backstage every night, right? So I don't put it outside because it's gonna freak people out, right, when they come. So I remember putting it outside. Second day, he said, "Hey, yesterday you didn't bring in that thing, ah?"
Oh.
I'm like, "Bang, don't mess with me right now. I don't need to hear this." Cakap, betul. He said, "Really? I was doing my rounds and I saw you guys didn't bring in that thing. Didn't bring in your prop." I said, "Why you guys leave your prop outside? People can steal." Because, I mean, it's a security thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No bang, it's backstage. It's backstage." So he just went like, "Okay lah." Okay lah. So like, it's like an unspoken thing. Like, I said, "Okay lah."
Bro got balls of steel, man.
I love when he's like,
Yeah.
He dedicated to his job.
Yeah, it's like, okay lah,
Possibly a pocong. Then he's like, "Hey bro, your prop haven't put inside."
Yeah, I put it inside. But I think genuinely he thought it was a prop lah, you know. Then when it dawned upon him that we put it in, it's like, no. Yeah, I said, you can check the CCTV, we bring it in. We never leave things outside because of course, number one is the production, we don't want to lose our stuff.
Yeah.
It's money. And number two, there's things happening in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
So the space is being used for like seminars and whatever. So it only happens in the evening when we do our shows. So we bring it in and then we bring it out and then we set up the whole thing again every day for every show. So I do not know what he saw. So he said, "Hey, what kind of smell you all use for the show?" So he said, "You know that the smell invites things." I said, "Yeah, I know. But I'm very cautious. I do not want to use the incense." I said, "I only use jasmine." He said, "Nope. I smell incense." I said, "Bang, you're just messing with us." I said, No. I smell it. I'm like, "No. So what happened in the first show? So I'll split the two stories for the first show and two stories for the next show. Okay, the one that happened recently. So the first one, I did a cleansing of sorts. Not a cleansing lah. So okay, like a ritual, right? What do? I do a prayer. So I go to every part of the black box, and I just recited some prayers because I wanted to be sure that I didn't have anything. But even that, something happened. And then the second show, I didn't do it, and then like it got really intense the second time. And all of this I never experienced, you know. It's always my co-actors and my stage manager will experience because I'm in the heat of things. I'm thinking of performing, I'm thinking of my script, I'm thinking of whatever, you know, post-show dialogue and all that. So I don't have time to, so I really block out all these things. Only when they come and tell me. And then when they come and tell me, I get irritated. I'm like, "Why are you scaring yourself? Now you're scaring yourself. And then you scare me. We have a show to run, you know." Come on lah, common sense. So anyways, so the first thing that happened I remembered very, very vividly was my stage manager came to me. So the show starts at 8 o'clock. At around 7:15, Muslims believe that it's the witching hour because it's Maghrib time, right? That's where all the spirits come out in the open because it's a new day to us. So he said, "Hey, there were there were about 3 or 4 men. They were dressed in a white jubah. So a jubah is like a white cloth lah. It's a religious garb." He said they were asking me where to watch Cerita Hantu. So I said, "Then what did you tell them?" I told them level 2 black box. I said, "Okay." So remember I told you guys I did research with 3 people, men of faith, men of science, and men of beliefs. Yeah. So men of faith, one of these ustaz. So I thought ustaz came to watch because I gave them free complimentary tickets. But I said, I only gave 2 complimentary. How come got 3 or 4? Okay, never mind. So I thought it was an ustaz who brought his friends. Ustaz would wear that thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't think much about it. So I went through the show. This was during preview, by the way. Where I invite family and friends and media and people that I've worked with, you know. So I did a show, but while I was doing the show, I was scanning the whole room. No one was wearing a white garb. So I'm like, who was it? And I saw the ustaz, and he was wearing jeans and a long sleeve hoodie. And I'm like, something is not right. So I said, okay. So I asked my stage manager, I said, "Who did you saw?" I said, "I don't know. They just asked me, mana nak tengok Cerita Hantu, where to watch Cerita Hantu." So I told them second level. So that was the end of it. Okay. Until the next day, I received a DM from a lady. So apparently this lady is able to see things I do not know. She said, "Hafiz, that was a great show. Thank you." So we were talking about the show. Wow, I'm so. It's my first time watching a multisensorial show and all that. I love the prop that you put backstage. So I said, "What prop?" I said, "Oh, okay, because my stage got 2 big trees, and then in front is like the wardrobe and the bed and all that. So the trees are constant. Alright, and behind the trees is the entrance to the backstage. He said, I love the fact that you planted a man down there to just stand. So I said, babes, there's only 4 actors on stage. Which man? Oh, it's not a plant because I saw a man standing at the back of the tree. He's wearing white. And it just made sense to me. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, wearing what? He was wearing a white jubah. He was just standing there. So I thought he was part of the show. He said, I thought he was part of the show because I thought you just plant him there to scare us, you know. She said, I saw him throughout the show. I said, oh
no.
Okay. So I said, no lah, it's not. I was like, at the point of time I was very tired. I was like, no lah, it's not. It's only 4 actors. And then she said, and then she gave the emoji like the blue face. So I'm like, yeah, just that lah. Yeah. So there was also one time where we were doing a briefing. Everyone was on stage. My lighting guy, he had to go to the toilet. So he was backstage alone in the toilet. And then he texted, stop playing with the door. He texted in the group chat. He said, bodoh lah, jangan main dengan pintu lah. Cakap stupid lah, don't play with the door lah. And all of us were here and we were like, okay, never mind, let's wait for him to go out. So when he went out, cakap, irritating eh. I said, what happened? Entah, don't know lah, someone go and do and then knock on my door. I said, okay lah, you've been visited by someone lah, because all of us are here throughout. So he went on for the full 15 minutes. So he was in the washroom for 15 minutes. No one was at the side. No one was at the back. Sorry, all of us were on stage because I was doing my briefing. I was going through the stuff, and I know my actors is a small team of like 9 or 10 of us. You know, so there's no one at the back. So I said, "You've been visited lah." And he just went like. So he just got really freaked out. He said, because he WhatsApp. Because he was in real time. He WhatsApp. So everyone got
15 minutes. He withstand 15 minutes of that, and then he obviously yelled, right?
He got frustrated.
He got frustrated. Yeah. But nobody.
And we hear him from backstage because it was a very quiet space. So we hear him and we're like, what the hell is he screaming about? So we thought he's on the phone or whatever. And then we received that text and we're like, yeah, something's not right. So that was the thing that happened. Okay, so the creepy thing that happened was on the second show. Now, I always feel like sometimes it's a bad idea to mess with these things because not mess with these things lah.
But
I do it with respect. But not even engage to amplify these stories on stage because I feel like, you know, like we are talking to them and like we give them permission to show themselves on stage and all that. So one of it was it showed itself on stage. Yeah, you wouldn't believe what happened. So what happened was there was a scene where one of my actors become the pocong and her job, I told her, your job is just to hop in the middle, say your lines, adik mak dah balik, adik mom is home, and then go out like that, right? So my actress is very petite. She's just like maybe 1.5 something lah, but she's a very small girl. So that was her job. On the third night when we were doing the performance, I remember this very vividly, and this messed me up because after that I was like, I remembered I didn't pray beforehand, and I'm like, why is this happening? Because it shot itself on stage. So what happened was, she went out of backstage, and then my stage manager, so the control room is at the top, so they can see the stage. So he just went like, who's that guy? And then my lighting guy just went, shut up, because they all saw it. I said, what did you see? He said, I saw a very tall man standing behind her, jumping at the same time. So I'm like, you guys are just messing with me lah, huh? Never mind. So I thought whenever. Because sometimes when we do shows, we do not know who comes to watch our shows, right? So unfortunately for me, I think in that audience, really sweet, there were 3 or 4 of them who maybe have had experiences who can see right. And this is what happened. One of the girl was this close to getting possessed in my show, and I'm like, no, not gonna happen. Because she just went like that, and I saw, because I'm on stage. And I'm like, I saw her show, so she was like in pain. She was like that, and she was looking at me, and I'm like, no, don't get possessed. I do not know how to handle this shit if you get possessed in my show, because it's like, it's live.
Yeah.
And then one of the other guy just went, Astaghfirullahalazim. He just went like that. He just went like, God forbid me. So okay, anyways, whatever. So that thing happened, and I the first thing that I went backstage, I told my actress, are you okay? I said, she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? She got nothing. What I noticed, I didn't see the thing, but what I noticed was because it's a multisensorial thing, right? So I said, I needed you to jump. So I want the unnerving sound of things hopping. Duk, duk, duk. But ever since we start the production, she has never been able to do it. Because why? She's a skinny, petite girl. So it's always like, like that. But I'm like, okay, fine. I'll make do whatever actors I have.
Yeah.
But on that particular night, I remember, guys, every time she hopped, it went, dut, dut. Like, really like someone of a specific weight that was, jumping across the stage. And then one of the post-show dialogues, I actually went outside. After the post-show dialogue, I went to the guy. I said, I'm sorry bang, I really hope nothing happened to you. Like, but can you tell me what happened? And he just said, tak nak bilang. I said, okay fine, I respect your decision. So then he DM me afterwards. He said, I didn't want to tell it then because it's at the space. I didn't want to rile these things up, but I saw another pocong behind the actress, and he was imitating her hopping on stage.
Wow, that's hardcore, man.
But everyone else just saw her.
So like, the three people in the audience that can see these things, they saw it.
So one of the girls just went like that, but like it sounded as if like she was in pain, so nobody paid her any mind. I mean, they were looking at her, but they're like, okay, whatever. Maybe she's like that. Maybe she's just like scared. She's just doing that. But one of the guys actually went, astaghfirullah. He just went astaghfirullah, and he just did that. He just did that. Yeah, so I'm like, oh no. Then I'm like, oh no. And it's very sad, and it's very scary because it started attacking my actors. So very sad. One of my actors kena like, she got one, Hafiz, and she's an elderly lady. I mean, not elderly, like she's probably in her 50s. Because I want a mother role and a nenek role, so I wanted her to be that. She sent me a photo, Hafiz, badan kakak ada blue black. She said. So on the first night, she said, I kena blue black at this one. I said, just be careful, okay? You might hit into things because it's staged. Okay, Hafiz. The next day, another one, and then the next day another one. So at the end of the show, she had like blue blacks all over her body. And I was very scared because I was like, I didn't want to have to answer to her husband, you know, because I don't want her husband to like come and tell me, I don't want my wife to perform, because we still have like 2 or 3 more shows to go. I said, Kak, you okay? Kakak okay. It's not painful lah, but it's just I do not know why I get this bruises. And after that, last show, she said, I think something happened to me. I did. Cakap, why? I can't open my eyes. I can't go and perform tonight. I'm like, what happened? She said, I don't know what happened. My eyes is really red. So I said, true enough. I said, Kakak, you go to the doctor first. So when she went to the rehearsal space, the space, her eyes were watery and her eyes were red. I said, what happened? Hives, is it? You get hives? And the doctor said, no, it's not hives. You got allergic reaction? No, not allergic reaction. Cakap, what's happening? Tak tahu lah. I think it's just dust. I think she's trying to play it cool. I think it's just dust. Because yesterday I was cleaning my house. I'm like, okay, fine. So then the kakak said, I think I want to see someone to help me with this. Cakap, yeah. So the guy who treated her said that her eyes got poked by Pontianak. So I didn't. So I'm like, okay. So I apologized profusely. I said, I do not know what's happening. I said, I'm so sorry that you had to do this. So recently, because I just received the green light from Arts House, I said, Kakak, you want to do it again? And then she just went like, let me ask my husband first. I said, yeah, I understand. But and I'm like, where are you getting all these bruises? Kakak tak tahu. Kakak don't know where I'm getting it from.
But all because like you didn't pray that day? Because you said you pray every day, right?
I prayed once before we start, or while we entered the space, and then once after we ended. So I remember for the second Cerita Hantu, I didn't pray because I was so busy. Because I remember I was from New York and had to go back, jet lag. I have to do my stuff, take care of the lighting, take care of props, whatsoever. And then it was a show time, and then I only realized it when in the middle of the show. I'm like, I didn't pray before we start. Oh, and then I was like, it's nothing lah. Like, yeah, probably nothing. And then all this started happening. Now I'm like, and props start to go missing.
Yeah, that's quite common. They will take And then you'll put it at somewhere, then you'll find it, then you're like, what the hell is this?
But my one, we never found it.
Oh no.
Okay, so what happened was one of the props is it's in the shape of a tombstone. So I planned one of the actress to be Pontianak to be inside the wardrobe. So she would open the wardrobe and she would go out and she would go to people. She would start singing and humming and she would start crying. And then she would scream and then she would run out from the theatre. That was like starting of the show. So I said, when she goes run, she'll go to backstage. She'll put that thing inside the luggage, a trolley bag. Because that trolley bag, she will bring it out. It's not that she leave it there. She will bring it out for performance. Because it's about a lady who came back home and got the grandmother's spirit. After the first show, she just went to me, just like, that thing's missing. I don't know where is it. So we had to go to Mustafa and then like buy styrofoam and buy cotton, and we had to do it again. Second day again, it's missing. Second day in a row. So I'm like, where do you take it out? So to the point where I got angry with my stage manager. I said, why are my props missing? You as a stage manager, you should take note. There's an inventory, what? I know, but I cannot be doing it because I'm the one calling the lights and all that. So whatever is happening is all with the actors, and I can't blame my actors because they have a job to do. So end up we just scrapped the whole idea of her holding the tombstone. I just said, let's just use a cloth, wrap it up as if you're holding a baby, and then just do it, and then that's it lah. And we never found it back. So I don't know where the two tombstones went. Yeah.
When you just now when you say that theatre has certain superstitions that you follow, what were the superstitions that you followed?
I'm quite naughty when it comes to following rules. I don't do it. Like they always say, don't say break a leg. Don't say break a leg because something is going to happen. But that was like an old Shakespearean kind of, European kind of thinking. I'm like, no, Southeast Asia, Singapore, no such thing. But they say that I can't think of one. No, the only thing that I can remember is don't say break a leg, and I think it's pretty basic. Like just watch your mouth, and if you see things, don't say it. Yeah, because there's a theatre in Singapore that's quite old, quite big, very famous story. I don't know whether you have heard it before, of an old lady at the backstage holding the curtains to open. Yeah.
He doesn't know, but you can tell him.
So there's this very famous I wouldn't say urban legend, but because a lot of people have seen it before, where they have seen a woman by the side of the stage, and they thought she is like a cleaner or a worker or part of the production, but she's not. She's just standing there by the side, by the wings, just looking at you, holding the curtain like that, holding the curtain thing. And there's been an occasion whereby an actress have seen a fellow actress at the side getting possessed before getting out on stage, and she's doing her stuff and she's looking at the guy, and the lady is already starting to dance dance, and just like the next scene is you gotta get your together, you need to perform. So I said, what happened? I said, they had to stop. They had to stop the show, unfortunately, to an audience of 800. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Because how to continue?
Yeah.
What's already what?
The theatre is very old. It's very old.
Around the area also.
Okay.
Yeah. the area very, 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 very strong because it's one of the core places that it remains unchanged. I mean, not unchanged as in like there's a lot of history behind it, because we are a nation of building sand, right? So we always build. But that's one of the core places that has been there since the start of everything. So I'm not surprised if that place is quite intense.
Yeah. So there's this light in theatre called the ghost light, right? Why? Maybe you can share with our audience. Why do people not switch off? Theatre people not switch off the ghost light?
Obviously, because you don't want to invite them. I mean,
But the light is always on.
The lights
you don't switch it off.
Even in shows where the show is happening, you always switch it on. So there's always that faint light. But so interestingly, I followed that rule even in my daily life. Like I cannot sleep in total darkness. I don't know whether you guys can do it. Some people need total darkness.
Me,
I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Only at home lah. In hotel room, maybe I will keep one small light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case.
And I will no. In hotel room, toilet light is switched on. The TV is switched on with no sound. I cannot. At least minimal.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I cannot. I've experienced. I don't know. I want to share. Whether we have time to share this hotel story that happened to me in KL.
Okay.
The worst.
One last ghost story.
One last story.
Okay. Let's go.
So I've never experienced of seen things. Maybe I've seen shadows. Maybe I've seen very fast things, but I've never seen things. Right. So when this happened to me, it was very real because I was alone in that room. So I remembered in this hotel in KL.
Which part?
It's not a
Central?
Yeah, Central lah.
KLCC there.
Bukit Bintang area.
Oh, okay.
So it was very busy. It was a very busy hotel. I didn't the last thing I wanted to happen was in that hotel because it's a fairly new hotel and it's a very busy hotel. And I'm very careful with rooms that they assign me. I said whenever they go like, I'm sorry, but it's beside the lift. Are you okay? I said, I'm fine. I need the noise. It's beside the road. Are you okay? I'm fine. I need the noise. Because I feel safe with that noise, right? I cannot be in a place where it's really quiet. It freaks me out. So I was on TikTok. I still remember I was on TikTok and everything was switched on, okay? The light was switched on. It was not even late at night. It was probably maybe like 9 p.m. I was very tired on that day. I just went for a massage. So I just said, I wanted to do my script, by the way. So I always have these short trips out of the country to just lock myself out inside a room and do my work and just churn out a script in like 3-4 days. Because if I do it in Singapore, it cannot happen. Yeah. Got fridge, got friends who ask me to go supper and all that. I'm like, I need to be focused. So, anyways, back to the story. I was tired of doing my script. I went for a massage. I went back home. It was 9+. I was on my phone. I was alone in that room. I was viewing TikTok. Very harmless TikTok. And for some reason, you know how the algorithm is very smart. So if you watch one video, it recommends you another video. So I remember watching one of these possession videos. And I went on TikTok again. So I was deep into this whole ghost things. And then I went to this particular video. I will never forget that video. So nowadays, there's a lot of healers who document their exorcism. So when you document exorcism, the prayers that you say is out in the open. So if that prayer is to call, you are really calling it because it's on speaker. Right? Yeah. If that prayer is to heal, you are healing someone. So I've had instances whereby people play something and then someone else will react to it, right? So I was watching this and he said a prayer, a very particular prayer to just get the spirit out of the body. And I remembered just looking at it, I'm like, okay. And it was on speaker, stupid, don't want to use the phone. But alone in the room, right? And then suddenly the whole room went black. So it tripped, by the way. It tripped, the TV switched off. All my lights switched off. I was in total darkness. The only thing that the only light was from my phone. But then that's not the most messed up part. So I stopped. And I swear to God, guys, I heard someone, it's a carpeted floor. I heard someone run from the toilet to the front of my bed. Like,
oh man.
So I'm like, what have I called? So then I just throw away my phone. I'm like, what am I calling? I was just in my underwear, by the way, because, right, privacy, right?
Yeah.
So I ran, I opened. So apparently, the light, nobody switched it off. It just glow. So I switched off, and then I switched on again, then the light came on again. And then I remember just standing at the door in my underwear. I'm like, do I go out in my underwear right now? I cannot sleep inside this room anymore. For like a good 2 minutes, I'm like, do I leave? Do I leave or what? Do I leave? I want to leave. So apparently, I mustered up the courage. I was shaking. I wanted to cry because I was like, cannot be happening. I'm alone in this room. Yeah. So I called a friend who's in KL. I said, hey, you want to go to Jalan Alo and have seafood? He said, yeah, okay. So after we eat and after that, as I get my one of things, I brought him back to the hotel room and said, hey, sleep here lah. No need to go back home lah. Just sleep here. He said, no lah. Besok kerja lah. Cakap you can work. You can work from my you can go to work from my. Don't wanna. So I said, okay, fine. We watch something. So I made sure he stayed with me until like 5 in the morning. And I said, okay, I really need to go. I have to go to work in like 2 hours. I said, okay, bye.
Then you sleep.
And that was my last night there.
Did you ever tell him why?
He said,
Smart.
yeah, I didn't want to tell
Yeah,
him.
you tell him, you straight away go home.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So I remember.
Wow,
So
that's
I was
creepy.
very cautious of not. Yeah,
To say
because
lah.
the things that you consume online, if it's
Yeah.
like prayers lah, you are calling, you know.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
really
yeah.
calling. So I remember,
Yeah.
and after that, the whole room went black, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no! And then in the instant when I paused, because I was shocked, right? And then, ta-da! I heard like, duk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I started sweating. I remember, I never want to go through that again. I said, that was the first and the only time it happened to me in a hotel room. So because of that, nowadays I'm like,
When was that?
Huh?
Then when was that?
Recent. It happened recently. It happened maybe
my God.
early this year. I remember late last year, because I remember I was writing script for Cerita Hantu.
Bro.
So it happened sometime in November or December before I went to New York. I was in
Bro.
KL.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about Southeast Asian hotels.
Yeah.
Like, you go to New York, okay one lah, Angmo, never mind lah, Southeast Asian, okay one lah.
Yeah.
Right. You don't, the fear is taken out because cultural.
But
difference.
cannot like sometimes okay. Like I have a friend. Okay, 30-second story. I love stories. So she's a cabin crew, and she says, it's a funny horror story. Okay, it's not funny when it's happening to you, but it's funny when she's telling me. She said, so I'm very careful when I go to hotel rooms. There's this particular hotel in a European country that's known to be very quite intense, dirty. So it happened to me. She said, I was on my phone and then I saw a woman in a long Victorian dress, just standing over there behind the curtain. Just standing. And then she said, okay, I'm tired, I want to go and sleep. So she went to YouTube and she played the Arabic, the Arabic.
the prayers
the prayers are all in Arabic, right?
Yeah, prayers.
So it was a 2-hour prayer. So she played on speaker and then she slept. It's like 5 minutes, the thing's still there. 10 minutes, for half an hour, she said the thing's still there. And she's like, this thing is not loading. Like the prayers is not loading, is it? Do they not understand the prayers? And I'm like, I think they don't understand Arabic. So that's the reason why. And it's like, but I want that thing to go away. And that's what happened. So I said, I was so tired, I just fell asleep. So that thing just played on for 2 hours. And then in the morning when I woke up, the thing wasn't there anymore. So I said, I think because the thing doesn't understand Arabic lah.
Yeah.
European ghosts different different sensibility lah.
I mean, different religion
Different
also.
religion like what noise is this?
Is that, what is this?
At least change the language lah.
Probably, I don't know. Yeah, so she said, I think the prayers didn't load lah. I said, I think so.
Yeah.
But imagine like you play something and then that thing doesn't, or you play something and then that thing laugh at you. Ha.
Takik.
It happened, you know.
Yeah.
Happened before. Like there was one time I saw this video. This ustaz was saying a prayer, and then the person was possessed. You don't even know how to pray very well.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
And then there was one time he was repeating, and then that lady just smiled at him and said the same prayers. Like that.
Walao, man.
So where do you go from there? You know, like
you call someone more experienced.
Okay lah. The first one at least it's a bit funny. Like, you don't even know how to say your prayers. Like, kena critique by the ghost or
then the
everything.
other one is like they say
The
the
other one
same
is-
prayers.
No, but like he say it back to you like, you mean like this?
Yeah, no, because as Muslims we believe what? Because before he became the devil, he was angels,
Yeah lah.
God's favorite
Yeah.
angel, what?
Yeah.
Right. It was that thing.
So
So
that's scary, man.
he knew all the prayers, you know, and he was the number one prayer for God. And then there was that Adam story, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, I'm better than him. I'm made of fire. He's made of soil. Why should I, you know? Yeah. So
Yeah, but
it's not surprised if these things know how to pray, because it's like,
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of ghost stories. I hope you guys are.
yeah, man.
If you don't have
man.
enough ghost stories, please visit his Hantu podcast. Excellent storytelling. Sometimes you will hear extra
very-
extra
Very
noise.
bite-sized, extra noise.
No lah, but
Sometimes-
still longer than Ghost Maps. 20 minutes.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you are very, very detailed.
Hey, but bite size is good, you know.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
bite size
yeah.
content.
Yeah, like then he will like, what's that noise? He will stop the story there.
Yeah.
What's that noise? I think
so
my
it's that
neighbor.
thing, my neighbor. But
Your neighbor
the
quite-
most interesting thing is that when I'm not working, when I'm not telling ghost stories, no sound.
Yeah.
Only when I'm sharing ghost stories, got marble.
Normal.
Got the ngek of the. I'm like,
But you always tell ghost stories at night.
yeah,
Because
that's the only free time that I have.
that's
yeah.
the thing. So
Maybe.
why are they so active at night?
Yeah, and it's an elderly couple, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, there was one time I heard someone skip like. Tuk, 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 like someone skipping, and I'm like, cannot be a
Okay,
85-year-old woman
yeah.
skipping in his house. So I know, and someone said when you hear things, it's because that thing's inside the room. But I try not to mess something in my head. Yeah. So I just
Wow.
Do you experience it?
When recording, yes, quite a few times. Yeah, quite a few times. But we don't care. Because certain beliefs are when you manage to capture, there's certain belief that when you manage to capture or these kind of things, right, they happen to you on set or in your recording, means that you are gaining popularity. It's actually a good thing.
Really?
Because they like you. Yeah.
You know what?
But you don't.
I mean, but at what expense?
Yeah. But you don't acknowledge them, like. Just don't care,
You know, but you know me.
Yeah.
I will say it out. If you, I'm like, sorry guys, give me a moment. No. There's one point after whereby I hear scratching, and I'm like, it's not my cat.
Oh
I'm
yeah, I heard that episode. Said, hey, wait, got
no,
scratching
wait,
sound.
got scratching. No, I open my door. I'm like, no, my cat's not here. I'm like, something is messing with me. So I'm so sorry, guys. And then because you're scared, right? And then you cannot say the story properly. I'm like, whatever you guys can hear, you all just make your own deductions from this story.
I remember hearing that episode that he's like, sorry guys, I'm just gonna quickly finish this episode.
Yeah.
Because got the sound.
No, the fact that I don't stop and compose myself and continue, and I just you know what? I don't have the luxury of time. I'm just gonna okay, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Bye.
Dedication to the content.
Yeah, man.
Dedication to the
So
content.
then the listener will be like, that was quite abrupt. I'm like, oh, you think?
You do lah.
Yeah, you do lah.
Okay. Speaking of abrupt, right? Speaking of content, so we always ask our guests this one. What are some of your favorite horror movies, books, and even games? Horror,
Favorite
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, someone asked me this question and it took me a long time to answer because I think I didn't give that person a specific answer. It's many things. It's many things. But I remembered a story or a movie that I watched. And it's not particularly scary, but it just made me messed up for weeks after that. It's this film called Jangan Tegur. It's online. You can go and watch it. I think it's on Netflix. So for those of you who have a Netflix account, go and watch it. Jangan Tegur. It's the beginning scene where a daughter comes back home to visit her dead grandmother, and then at night, when she went out of the room, the body is not there.
Oh.
Because they had to wait for the next day to bury the body. So everyone who went to visit has gone back home, and she's alone in that house with the body.
Oh.
And then there's a scene where she's asleep, and then there's a shot of that body just beside her. And that messed me up. And I'm
That's
like,
a Malaysian or Indo?
It's a Malaysian movie.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Jangan Tegur.
It sounds like the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yes.
So they found the dead body, but then the dead body weird one. Like it will go missing. Then the two mortuary people, they are like, where's the dead body? Then suddenly the dead body in this freezer. Then the light go out. Like a lot of weird shit happening. Wow. About books.
No, I don't read horror books. I cannot because I have a very wildly imaginative mind. So and because I'm a writer myself, so I know that it can bring me to places. So I don't. I only read funny fiction stories.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Then
I can't.
I don't think you have time to play games, right?
The only game. Okay, I'll be very honest. The only game that I play is Tetris on my phone when I'm in the toilet doing my number 2. Just Tetris.
Solitaire for me.
Oh really? Yeah. It's simple. I don't have time, guys. I really wish I can have. No, I can't.
Yeah.
But that was the only movie that I remembered. Like Jangan Tegur. You all can catch it. It's not particularly scary. The ending is a bit like, huh? But that beginning scene, I remembered screaming, and then my cat just jumped, and all the hair stood, and then my mom like, stop it, and I'm like, I don't know why. It just happened. Like it was a jump scare where she was just sleeping, and then she just turned, and then the grandmother was just there like,
Oh,
looking at her.
Yeah.
Messed up. It's a messed up movie. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that we were met is because we work with the same this app Setmaker to tell ghost stories.
Yes.
So I really had to thank Rupert for introducing us.
For linking us up. Thank you, Rupert.
Yeah. So I also want to briefly ask you about your concrete jungle stories, right? You really went around to tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
Like in the actual Fort Canning, you did the Fort Canning one. Then
We
you
did the fucking and we did the HDB.
But did you go to the HDB?
The HDB I didn't
Oh,
because
okay.
I learned my lesson on the first one because something happened in the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
So I was with Rupert And Rupert was unaware. So Rupert, if you're watching this, I just want to tell you that something happened. So I went with a friend and we were charting the journey, right? We were charting the journey because we wanted to.
Yeah.
So these are stories that were sent to me by people. So I just had to piece them together. But we had to, because it's like a journey kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So we had to go from one place to another. So we actually went through the whole place and all that. So when we reached the, there is a shrine of someone there. I'm not gonna mention the name, but you know the shrine. And it was like 11. I don't know why we did it at 11 p.m. at night. There wasn't anyone. There was no hikers. Nothing. There was no. It was just the three of us there. And then my friend just turned. And my friend just said. And then because this friend is my friend Zuhairi Idris, I've known him for over 20 years, so I know that look. And he looked at me and he just went like. So I just went, okay. I said, Rupert, can we go to the next spot? So we just went to the next spot. So he said, what he heard was, he said, I heard the voice of people talking and giggling outside, like beside us. And then when I turned, there's no one there. But he said it felt like 20, 30 people talking, like a kenduri. In Malay folklore, not Malay folklore, as a practice, when someone passed away, when you have buried the body, you come back home, there's a prayer that you do. So everyone sits in the house and do this prayer.
And
that's what
it
Zuhairi heard.
sounded like that.
A group of men praying behind him.
It's the grave, right? The Fort Canning, there's like that area.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's strange because those graves were mostly Angmo graves, right?
There's one that's non Angmo. I know what you're talking about. The whole thing, right? Yeah.
But you were at the non-Angmo side.
Non-Angmo
Oh
side.
my god!
I think I don't know what
lone shrine there.
Oh,
Yeah. Then there is usually a keeper there. The person, but I think because that person is not there 24 hours, so that person wasn't there.
11 p.m. lah.
Yeah.
So to set the context, Setmaker is actually an app that allows you to listen to ghost stories while you walk around the actual locations where it happened. So
Correct.
Hafiz has actually created one for Fort Canning, one for
HDB.
Which HDB?
Don't say right.
Southern part of Singapore.
Okay,
There's not many estates in southern part of Singapore, by the way. So southern part of Singapore,
Teluk Bangga.
that area. A very famous 2-building estate.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I roughly know. So for us at Hantu, we a bit more foolish lah. We chosen the most famous one, Old Changi Hospital.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Hey, did anything happen?
Okay, so nothing explicit happen. Okay, so quick story for you guys. Basically, we also went with our friend Rupert, the Angmo, right? Nothing happened, but we were smart. We went in the afternoon.
His official title lah.
We went in the
Rupert Angmo.
afternoon. We went in the afternoon a lot of times. We planned the trip like at least 2 months in advance.
Yeah.
We rescheduled 3 times.
Because
Things lah. So then we have an intern.
things that happened there or before?
No, before.
before.
A lot of things blocked us from
think-
going.
yeah.
And then our intern.
But that's just the universe telling you that.
Exactly. Our intern, whose father is kind of like a medium, he told us, very on brand, right? Like the father medium, then she joined a horror content company. So the father told her, like, hey, actually you shouldn't go. Like then her dead grandma gave her a dream and told her like, hey, Abby, our intern, like, hey, you shouldn't go. Don't go. Don't go. She didn't even say anything. She just said, don't go.
Oh no.
And you know what's the funny thing? That dream happened before she joined the company. So I was like, bro. And then she told us that, and we're like, okay, maybe you shouldn't go. We'll go, but you don't go. But then the dad told her to tell us like, oh, maybe we should like pray a bit.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay. But we have friends who have the third eye. We have friends who are mediums and say, hey, don't be an idiot. Don't go to Old Changi Hospital.
Yeah, why you wanna
But we go
go?
outside, ma. We go outside a bit lah.
It's cordoned. There's no way for you to go inside anymore,
Yeah.
right? Cannot, right? Now it's
I
cordoned
wouldn't.
already.
You give me like how much money, I also probably won't go in because of how haunted it is. So yeah lah. So I mean, we paid a lot of effort. We spent so much time, risk our lives just to tell ghost stories, right? So please enjoy the ghost stories.
please consume our content.
Hey, wow, I tell you, the 20, 30 people, that one is scary.
Yeah, he said, I hear people praying at the back.
Oh, hell
so,
no.
so he just went. So
I
I'm
straight away run, bro.
yeah, so he just turned and then he looked at me and I said, it was like a non-verbal communication. So like, what? And he just went like,
Jalan, balik.
So I said, Rupert, let's go to the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
And Rupert is very game. He's like, I'll go through all the journey. I'm like,
No. See, the funny thing is that the stereotype, right? Like you Angmo, you come here, it doesn't affect you, cultural difference, right? When we told him at the old Changi Hospital, we said, we want to go at night. He said no.
Because you recorded the Fort Canning one first.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
No,
that's why.
because he's actually married to an Asian woman. So his wife told him that don't go. Don't go to Old Changi Hospital because of the reputation. And then
reputation,
he has to do a cleanse every time he returns from that area. So he gets it lah. Yeah. Interesting.
But he's very brave. So there was one time, one of the pit stops in Fort Canning is you have to go through the tunnel. I'm like, you go through the tunnel like in the afternoon lah, when there's light.
Yeah.
So he went inside. Then me and Zoe was like, that man has balls of steel.
Is it the spiral tree one?
So the spider tree, and then it will lead you down below to the battle box. So it's that. And he said, are you guys going in? Me and Zari, I'm like, no. Being the Southeast Asians that we are, we're like, no, we're not going in. Okay, I'll see you at the other side. I'll see you at the other side. I'm like, so as we went out, we're like, hey, he really went through it. Yeah, he went through it. And after that, he said, that was interesting. And I'm like, you can't pay me enough money to go through that at like 11 p.m. at night. And this was after we heard the praying.
Yeah.
So
hell no.
Yeah.
You're a brave man, Rupert.
Brave. Yeah.
So, 3 more questions actually.
Great, Ken.
What are some of the projects that you have coming up next?
So right now, projects, the one that's coming is a comedy sketch show, which is happening in Capitol Theatre in August.
Congrats.
So I don't know, I'm just messing things up right now, sorry. So that's happening in August. Me and Zohari doing it. So beyond ghost stories, we are comedians lah. So we do funny content lah. So that's just that. And then I have a show, a concert that I'm doing or hosting at the end of the year on the 30th of December.
Nice.
I mean, these are just like the big ones lah. You know, I mean the small ones, it comes and it goes and all that. And Cerita Hantu, which is happening in January.
Yeah.
In 2024,
Can't wait to watch
which
it.
is I'll give you guys.
What's the name of the comedy show at Capitol?
Lepak Live. Because it's Lepak Bangkonian, right? So it's Lepak Live. So this is our fourth
live podcast,
fourth show. Yeah, the first one we did was at Tampines Hub, and then we went to Scape, and then the last 2 shows, including this one, is going to be at Capitol Theatre. So we strength to strength lah. We try to make it bigger. Yeah, big and big. So that's happening next.
Okay. Any ghost stuff, horror stuff that you're working on?
I mean, Cerita Hantu in
Just
January?
berhantu the podcast sporadically. Let me put it out there. Yeah, I think one thing that's lacking in berhantu is consistency, which I'm quite okay with it. Yeah. So, but you know how some people are very entitled. We are not. Why are you going up? No, really. I've had this where and I had to be that person that has to knock some sense into people. Because it was a random outing with a friend at night, and we were just having supper, and I received a DM. Oh, got time for supper, got no time for berhantu.
Wow, bastard.
And I'm like, how much money are you paying me to record berhantu? It's out of my own goodwill, you know, that I'm doing it. I'm not getting paid to do it, you know.
Yeah, some fans be like,
Yeah, some of
We
them.
talk about Rupert having balls. Wow.
wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow. I mean, he said it in a joking manner, but I'm like, it's quite. Maybe he got me on the wrong day lah. So I just gave him a piece of my mind. I said, I think that's very entitled of you. I think it's not nice because I got things I got my own life, yeah. Got time go supper, no time.
It's not like you're not obviously already so bloody busy lah.
Exactly. You know, like, can't I have these 2 hours to just unwind and have supper with my friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe their friend tell you ghost stories, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We are always working, right? The brain is like always working.
Yeah, always working. So every time when I meet someone new for work, I'm like, hi. Oh,
It's the
okay.
same.
Lighting guy. So where do you stay? Oh, okay. Have you been doing this for a long time? Okay. That question.
Go
Got any
ghost story.
Yeah.
Same, bro.
The bane of my existence, asking about ghost stories. And more often than not, they're very happy to share, you know?
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
you ask them or they're like, you got ghost podcast, right? I tell you this ghost story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of ghost stories, we ask this of all our guests. What scares you the most? It can be stupid, okay? It can be really two of us, grown ass men scared of cicak. Greatest fear.
Yeah.
Chicha, okay.
If you put me in a room with full of cicak,
Oh no.
I will have a heart attack and die.
Yeah. Okay. Chicha, what scares me?
Yeah.
Beyond supernatural stuff, but what scares me?
Yeah, the most. It can be existential also.
Existential lah.
It can be physical, existential, anything.
What scares me the most? When I wake up one day and I'm not funny anymore.
Wow, that's existential as hell. Whoa, that's
Okay, no.
that's like deep.
Let's be more specific. When I wake up one day and I have nothing left to do. As in, like, I can't give you anything else.
Wow, that's deep.
In an episode where you've generously shared with us a lot of ghost stories, right? At that point, right, that's the first time in this entire episode where in my head I went, wow, it got dark.
It got dark.
It got dark.
It got dark.
Yeah, no. Okay, because I'm very because I overthink, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's my worst nightmares? My worst recurring nightmares is I'm on stage and I'm doing something and it's just silence. And people walking up and leaving the theater.
Yeah,
And I wake up and I'm like, Hafiz. And it always happens when I'm writing script for my show. So I'm like, it's not going to be a funny show. People are not going to laugh. People are not going to laugh.
Yeah.
So that is an existential problem that I have. Like, people won't find me funny anymore.
Yeah. Can relate.
That's my biggest nightmare. I can dream about ghosts or whatever. I can dream about falling off building, whatever. Oh, I chill. But yeah, because it's a real thing, you see.
Yeah.
The probability is very high.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the probability of me falling down out of parachute and then be able to fly is not much, but the probability of me doing something and bombing on stage and people actually believing it can possibly happen. So that's my biggest thing. Yeah.
It's human condition.
Because that's my livelihood, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, I do have the stupid fear of, like, because I direct on set, right? Yeah. Freezing. 20 people look at you. So how? Carl, what's the next shot? Then you just like,
Oh no.
right? Then you're like,
Yeah. Is that
like, oh.
It's the helplessness that, like,
Yeah.
I am not in charge of my life anymore.
Yep.
Done. Settled.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Chicha, okay lah.
No.
Chicha, I'm still okay.
Bro, like, we recently just went to KL. Then we had, they have those stops, right, where you go to the restroom. Bro, the chicha there are like this big one.
Oh no.
And like got 4 or 5 gathered around, like chilling, lepak. Then you need to go, there's a pillar, right, into the toilet. You need to go past them.
Yeah. Oh no.
He saw how bad it got for me, where at one point, right, I could see the cicak over the door. And I kept going back and forth from our car.
You don't want to go to the toilet?
Looking at my head, like,
You have to make a decision.
can I do this? Back and forth.
Singapore 2 hours away.
Have you? Okay, then I wouldn't recommend you this video. So I saw this video yesterday on TikTok of this. There's this couple who went to their Balinese resort.
Oh, I saw it. The gecko, right?
The gecko eating one another.
They fighting. They bite each other on the
wall,
roof. On the
and
roof.
on the roof, and then they're just like,
yeah.
I'm like,
bro.
if someone,
I saw that, and I was like, yeah.
have a phobia of, that's no.
Yeah.
Oh God, I pictured it. Oh God, I pictured it.
Okay.
All right.
So lastly,
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure they can find you, but where can we find you online?
Online, a son of a peach. Don't ask me why. Okay, for obvious reasons, because you can't spew vulgarities, and I'm a teacher, so I have to set good. But even when my kids go, teacher, I found you. You are a son of a peach. I'm like, I hope you don't say the B word. I hope you don't say the B word. Yeah, son of a peach. And then I have some teachers like, why you put your name like that? I'm like, because I wanted to put the son of a tooth, but I can't. I just make a peach lah. Like wordplay lah. So you can find me at the son of a peach. And you can find me on Spotify for those of you who want to listen to Cerita Hantu. It's called The Podcast. It's just called The Podcast. So there's two, like the picture is just a cartoon version of me and Zuhairi lah. But when I do Cerita Hantu, it's a Peking pocong. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. So that's, I think, in terms of all the ghosts that we grew up with, that for me is the one that gets in under my skin a lot. Because when you grow up, you experience death and all that, right?
Yeah.
And then you see people being shrouded and all that.
Yeah.
So it's that familiarity, like
Because it's so real, right?
you don't
Yeah.
you don't see random woman in white summer dresses with long hair, but you've seen it in front of your eyes and you've prayed in front of these individuals, who have been shrouded, and then to see that image of them hopping, it gets me crazy. So you talk about Toyo, and I'm like, nah. It's all quite fantastical to me, like Toyo. Oh, a small boy in green. But when you talk about Pochok,
Yeah, I can get it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Hafiz, for coming on to
you
our
so
show.
much.
Thank you.
And guys, you all have to follow him because he gave us a lot of ghost stories. I counted at least 10.
Yeah,
At least
like
10.
short.
And long, short, all sizes also have.
And we wanted to only make it a 2 hour. It's gone on
More
for a
than
very
2
long time.
hours.
You all have to edit a lot lah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the best. It's the best kind of episode.
It's the best kind of
the best
problem.
kind
lah.
of
It's the best kind of
Yeah,
problem.
when you have a lot of content.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. I'll be more than happy to have you guys on for Berhantu as well to share your ghost stories. Ooh. I rarely do that because I can't find. Okay, this is an ego thing. To have another person who do the same content, sometimes your sensibilities are different, and your values are not aligned, and then you're like,
Totally get it.
I don't want to, but
Yeah.
if you meet someone and they are on the same wavelength, and you want to do things together, you want to do it. So I'll be more than happy to have you guys over to Berhantu podcast to share your stories. I really do that,
No, I know.
Because it's like a one man show.
It's usually you.
It's just me in my room.
I love that, man.
With scratching, with furnitures, got marble sometimes. Sometimes you hear, hey, were you switching on the TV? I hear a woman laughing at the back. I'm like,
nice,
you
thanks.
have got to be messing
Thanks,
with me.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. But no lah. So far my house, nothing lah.
Yeah lah,
Nothing lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot be scrap your own house, right?
Yeah.
You living there, so even if it's there, you just like
No choice.
get
lah.
out. Yeah,
No
choice
pain.
lah.
Yeah.
Lan lah.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do the closer now.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Wayne, you wanna do it?
Okay. New episodes of Ghost Maps go online every second and fourth Thursday of the month on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and all major platforms. New episodes of Dead Air go online every 13th of the month on YouTube. To make sure you never miss an episode of either, subscribe now and follow us on social media at We Are Hantu. That's one word, WeAreHantu. If you'd like to share your own stories that could inspire future episodes of Ghost Maps, you can reach us through the contact form on hantu.sg or message us directly through Facebook and Instagram. You can also be one of our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/wearehantu. 1, 2, 3. And remember, just because they're stories, it doesn't mean they're not true.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you,
Thanks,
Hafiz.
guys. Thanks, Hafidz.
I love the wow. Okay, you all have all your bases covered.
If you want to stay up to date on Hantu and listen to our other podcasts like Ghost Maps, subscribe now and follow us on social media. You can also be one of our supporters on Patreon. Look for We Are Hantu or click the links in the description. Dead Air is a Hantu production, hosted by Kaya Ong and Wayne Ray, with album art by Joline Lim, and recorded on Audio Technica mics.